Hey, it looks like it says that it's showtime. Welcome to another edition of Keep Calm and Carry. Thanks so much for swinging by and spending another Monday evening with us. I really do appreciate it. It's always great that you guys are hanging out and enjoying I guess, the start of your week. Man, it's really good. I'm just making sure that I've got everything working properly, make sure that all of my systems are go. And yeah, it looks like we're good to go. So again, this is episode 85. We've got Shooting Stuff Australia on tonight's show because if you guys watched last week, I had Fudbusters on. He's a great guest. He brought up some really great points. We talked about a lot of the new gun control bills that are going to be introduced into the 117th Congress, and I think a lot of those align up with what's going on in Australia. So I thought it'd be great timing to have our buddy Down Under to come on, and he said he was free, so we went ahead and threw this together. Let's see. Let's move on over to the chat room and say hi to everybody. Mandatory Carry is in there first with the super chat, $3. Keep fighting and have to see the replay. I know you usually work nights. You're a really busy guy. I do appreciate the support as always. He's one of my biggest supporters on chats and on my videos, so I really do appreciate that. Yeti's in there and says, "Good, I might." Alan Powell, good to see you too. Video, audio, clear. That's great. That's wonderful. And there is the man, the myth, the legend, Hootie Hoo. We were just talking about you. I'm a poet, and I didn't know it. So there we go. Hey, peeps. What's going on, Captain Phil? Good to see you guys. All right. So let me go ahead and first, real quick, say thank you to all of my Patreon people. I want to say a special thank you today because I was able to get my hands on 500 rounds of 9mm, and even with tax, I still only paid 39 cents per round for that. So I'm really super happy about that. And that money is coming from the Patreon crew. So thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. It's a great way to support the channel and to keep on pushing my videos forward in this really tough time of ammo. Richard, good to see you, man. I hope things are going well for you across the pond in England. Got your email, and my heart goes out to you. I hope you land on your feet real soon, and everything. So just appreciate you reaching out. That was really cool. Loud and clear. All right. Hello from Down Under, Colin. Good to see you. A-Dubs, what's going on, man? And Bulgaria HMR operator. Good afternoon from Melbourne. Hey, that's cool. All righty, we got a good mixture of people in the live chat right now. 6 cents a round in my garage. I'm able to do reloading myself, but talking with a friend just this past weekend, he brought up the idea as if you can buy it on the shelf right now. He said, I would rather buy it on the shelf right now than roll my own, because rolling my own is you can't get it anymore at all. And I was like, that's a really good idea. That's a good point. It's a really good point. So without further ado, let's bring on our friend from Down Under. Here is Shooting Stuff Australia. Sir, how are you doing, man? How you doing?
Good, buddy. Good, buddy. It's good to be back again.
Yeah, I know it's been
the third time.
Yeah, it's been a little bit since we've had you on. I know that our schedules kind of conflicted there for a little bit. You had a job. You had a job that you were crushing.
Oh, work's been crazy. I'm renovating a $6.5 million home, and I just finished multi-million-dollar home out down the road from me, actually. So I could build the house during the day and nip out to the backyard and do some shooting in the afternoon before I go home.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So staying busy is always good, and when I reached out to you and asked if we could get together, you said that you were working, and I was like, that's a good enough reason. So Let's see. Hootie Who saying SSA is here. Woohoo!
Good old Hootie, he's a top bloke.
Yeah. So Hootie Who, we were talking about you prior to coming on live, and just saying what a great guy you are, and how in the world you're able to put out so many videos throughout the week is crazy.
And he's up all night editing as well.
Yeah. It's hard enough for me to get one a week right now with everything that I've got going on. So, but we have another one in the can. It will be out this week. I'm going to push really hard to have 2 videos out this week, guys. So just stay tuned for that.
Well, I've changed my videos around a little bit of getting a bit away from the gun reviews, basically because I've pretty much just had enough of giving all these companies free advertising, and they won't even answer the telephone. So like some of these companies, I sell dozens and dozens of guns for them, and they're just too rude to even pick up the telephone and return my phone call. And I'm not asking for free guns. I'm asking to see, hey, I'm going to review your gun. Last time I reviewed it, I got probably 50 messages saying they went in and brought it. How about just chucking us a little bit of ammo, because the gun reviews cost me a bit of money down here to make.
Yeah.
And here's one story. Marlin down here. I did a small 2-minute video in my friend's gun shop. This is about a year or so ago. Blah, blah, blah. Here's a new Marlin out. Just come out today. And that night, the gun shop sold about 5 or 6 of them. And I actually was able to get one to review, because one of the guys I knew reviewed it, phoned up the importers and said, hey, how about of doing this? And I said, oh, yeah, that's good. Well, I'm going to do the review. There's no reviews. Basically, there's no reviews anywhere in the world on this new Marlin rifle. How about just flicking us a couple of boxes of 44 Magnum, because it costs a lot of money to make these reviews. And I only make $200 a month on Patreon. Yeah. And he just said to me, he said, we don't really need you making reviews for us. And that was the end of the conversation. So,
wow.
Yep. So I've got no love for Marlin, and that's the sort of attitude we have over here, and disdain that these wholesalers have for people like me. And it's not just me as well. It's other YouTube channels in Australia as well. They don't see much point of us.
So do you feel that that those wholesalers or the companies themselves don't need influencers, that they can sell on their name alone? Is that kind of the vibe I'm getting?
They do, only because it's a very different market here. Like there's one big wholesaler here that helps me out, not get free guns, but they will send me demo guns to review, which helps a lot. Especially a new gun, they'll send it up, and so like we got to pay for a permit to acquire. So every time we buy a gun, we've got to pay the government about $40 just to apply to buy the gun. Ask permission to buy the gun, basically. And so I've got to pay for that. I've got to normally pay for all the ammo. Sometimes they're good and they do give us the ammo. And yes, so that they're good. But yeah, most of them just think that's a small industry. No, we don't need anyone. There's enough idiots out there doing free advertising for us, and they love it. I know wholesalers, and they said, "Oh, we love these guys out there making videos for free, and they're selling our guns like free sales reps." And they just laugh at them. They basically laugh at people like me over here. So yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. It's going to pick out some fun guns, or if people actually have an interesting gun, something different. Like I just did the MH12 double barrel straight pull shotgun the other day. That's something totally different, and there's no reviews on that anywhere in the world. So I was sent one to review, and it's coming out in a couple of days.
Cool.
But what they don't understand is, this is the big thing. I told this to a sales rep the other day quite harshly, that what you don't understand, I don't need you to get guns. I can borrow guns from people and secondhand guns whenever I want. I've got endless guns to review, so I don't need you for that. But it is nice to for them to like help out with a little bit of ammo.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't happen here, and basically I'm getting over it, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I see that Richard, he's saying from an English perspective that they have the same BS there with Marlin. Sold loads of 4570 rifles for them and got no thanks. So that's
they don't like me at all, and the sales rep has told me the wholesalers don't really like me because if I say something bad about, because I'm always honest. Even the people who lend me guns, they know that what I'm going to, I'll say exactly what I think of the gun. But you
Hmm.
don't have to trash talk it. You can say it in a diplomatic way. But I'll point out its faults. No
Yeah.
matter if you give me a gun to review. If it doesn't work, I'm going to say it doesn't work. And I was told by another wholesaler that these gun companies are scared shitless of you reviewing their gun because you only have to say if it's a real bad gun, the sales just go down the toilet.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of interesting, because I was just talking to you about Taurus, and I'm not a fan of Taurus. I've had my own issues with Taurus. I've had problems with a firearm that I owned. The things that I see online from people complaining about them, but yet the moment that you speak out from a U.S. perspective, the moment that you say anything bad about a gun, they want to try to shut you down, or you know discredit you, or insult you to make them feel better about their purchase, or whatever the case may be. And I'm getting ready to do another video on the Taurus G3C. I don't want to do the video, but I think it's a video that needs to be done. It's already been covered by two other channels, and I just showed you some of the B-roll, and it's not something that should happen, but it does happen if you know how to recreate it, and it's a problem. So I know that I'm going to get a lot of I'm going to get a lot of crap about that, and I'm not trying to crap on Taurus. I'm just trying to say, hey, this is a problem. So
It's what you showed me was bad, and I think it's a safety issue. People should know about it.
yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
I get the same thing. So I review a gun, I say something. Hey, this is good, but this is bad. And at the end, I always say, would I buy this? Well, no, I wouldn't buy it because I think it's overpriced or something like that. Blah blah
Mhm. Sure.
blah. And the amount of people who are butthurt in the comments, and just because it's like you're insulting them because they own that gun.
Mhm.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not here to cater to your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. I'm not here to cater to you because you're that insecure and that weak of a person that you cry because you own the gun and I don't like it. I'm not interested in it.
Yeah.
Your feelings at all. I got lots of guns that people slag out and hate. I don't care. I don't care. You have the right to hate it or like it, and I don't care what you say, what you think.
Yeah.
It
It,
doesn't bother me.
it's very telling. You guys will know who I'm talking about here, but it's very telling when a firearm company offers a lifetime warranty, puts out a new pistol, reduces that lifetime warranty to a 1-year warranty, and then after about a year or two switches it back to a lifetime warranty, and then has a 4-month waiting period on a return for a warranty issue. That right there should be very telling as to whether or not a firearm is good or not. So, I mean, and I tell people all the time, as like, I had someone come over to my house to look at a pistol and said, "Hey, here's an option. Uh, here's another option. I like this one because I like this one because I don't like this one because I don't like this one because you choose." And they picked up the Taurus and said, "I like how this one feels in my hand." I was like, "Okay, all right. If that's something that you're interested in, let's go buy it." And took it to the store and found one, and filled out the 4473 to start the background check and all that jazz. And at the end of the day, that's what they ended up with. And I just said, okay, just so you know. And before we even went down to buy it, I said, just so you know, this is a concern, but there's an easy way to get around it. And walked them through everything. And at the end of the day, that's what they wanted. That's what they chose. That's what they had the money for. And I fully support that. If that's what you got the money for, run with it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Everyone likes different things, and
Yep.
So I just can't be PC on my channel. I just don't. After 8 years, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
If I upset you, that's not my problem. That you are so weak, you get upset because I don't like your gun.
Yeah.
It's just the way I think now. 8 years of doing this, and it's just not. Yeah, it's just funny. You just read the comments, and I just absolutely laugh with half these guys out there. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been threatened to be sued twice by gun companies because I've said something they haven't liked.
Really?
Yeah, and big companies as well. But everyone's entitled to opinion. Yeah, I can say if I don't like a gun or not, and why I don't like it. If I shoot a gun, I don't like it. I'm allowed to say I wouldn't buy this, guys, because I just don't think it's a very good gun.
Mm-hmm.
I've used it. I can say that.
Yeah. Blitz jumping into the chat room. He says, I never understood the Taurus Judge besides kind of the cool factor. Are you familiar with the Taurus Judge?
Yes, we have the we have the Rossi Judge here, but it's in a
Mm,
stock with a thing because it's too short of a pistol for
I
over
see.
here.
Hmm.
So
So,
it was outdoors.
so if anyone doesn't know, it's a revolver that shoots 44 long Colt and 410 shotgun shells. And to be honest with you, I think Paul Harrell does a good rundown of those uh, of those pistols and their um, their uses, what you should use it for, what you could use it for, and so on and so forth. I think realistically, it ends up being kind of a snake gun from my perspective, but I would say probably the cool factor that Blitz is talking about is the movie Max Payne. I don't know if you ever saw Max Payne. You did, yeah. So there's a scene with Mark Wahlberg. He's walking through a restroom and he's blowing doors off of their hinges with a with a freaking judge, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah, yeah. Well, our gun laws here in Australia are all based on the movies. That's why we can't have suppressors. That's why we can't have pump action shotguns.
Yep.
All the bad guys have pump action shotguns.
Yep.
Literally, it is what it is. They see the movies and they think that's real life. They see an AR-15 or an AK-47, and the bad guys are using it. Said, "Nah, nah." They'll, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely ridiculous.
So who do you says, and he gets it right every single time. He says, "I'm poor, so I buy Taurus." Yeah, it's
Well,
hilarious.
I own a Taurus 8-inch 44 Magnum revolver, and I shoot metal silhouette contests with it, and I'm thinking gongs, 6-inch gongs at 200 meters with it.
Oh wow, that's good. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, so I do like that. I've had no problems with that one.
Yeah,
But
and
I don't know
and
if you. Oh,
I
sorry.
was going to say, and at the end of the day, like I said, my biggest problem with Taurus, there's a few problems, but the biggest problem that I have with Taurus is their QAQC. If they could hammer down their QAQC and some of the safety issues, then I think it would be a lot better. Joe, he's always in the comment section and in the live chats. He's a big Taurus supporter. And hey, man, if you've got pistols from Taurus that work out well, by all means, man, run with it. I mean, I've talked to a number of police officers, and they said that you would be surprised how many dead bodies they find from gunshot wounds that ended up being matched to a Taurus or a Keltec or a car or a High Point. So,
Oh, yeah. Well, you're not going to same here. It's what they don't understand about our gun laws in Australia. Okay, so to get a pistol, we'll go off pistols. So, like this here, this is my new pistol here. Don't know if you guys will be able to see that. That's the Ruger PC Charger. So we can have that on our pistol license over here. So that's set up $1,600 over here for that pistol. So criminals aren't going to spend a couple of grand on a pistol to go commit a crime, and then you chuck the pistol away. They're just going to, most illegal guns, and you see the photos are all Glocks or cheaper guns like that, or homemade gun. A lot of gun crime here is homemade guns. Zip guns with 12 gauge shotguns in a galvanized pipe. That's or homemade. A guy down the road here was making homemade submachine guns that took Glock mags.
really? Wow.
Yeah, they look like little mini Uzis. Yeah, The Australia Post here, guy was actually posting from America whole Glocks, like in birthday packages, but 10 at a time. And they reckon it's been going on for years before they finally caught him, just in the post to his front doorstep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was a couple different things I wanted to touch on here really quick. Let's see. Joe saying if the judge was smoothbore, it would be better as a 410. That's true. Let's see. Threatening to be sued over a gun review. Put one more subscriber on the board for you. SSA dubs.
Appreciate that.
The weapon collection. I wish Taurus would have been able to mass produce the 28 gauge revolver that they only ever prototyped, and I wish a better company than Taurus made it. Laugh out loud. Well regulated jumped in there. It's good to see him. Good friend. He says, "What's up, man? Been to Australia 3 times. Couldn't find a Bowie knife there. So disappointing." But I don't think Bowie knives are American. But
yeah, Alamo, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So what is the large knife called from Australia? The Crocodile Dundee. This is a knife. Which I know you love him. I know you love him.
No, Paul Hogan's a bit of a left-hard over here, so yeah, not really liked by gun owners. No, we don't have any. This is Australia, man. Everything comes from China. We don't. China own us. We're just like a little island off China. They're buying all our farms, all our stations, everything. Now they're ruining our economy by not buying our beef, and our wine industry is almost gone now because they dumped all our wine. They won't let 200% tariffs for our wine. Our country's a complete mess over here.
Yeah.
But knives, the only sort of Australian knives are custom knives. There's a guy who watched my live streams, Kraken Knives. He doesn't sell a lot in Australia, but he is big in the States. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, handmade, cerakoted as well. Very beautiful knives. In the States, he's really well known in the custom knife making. In Australia, he told me he hardly sells a single thing over here. But in America, that's where his entire market is. Yep. I think he's down in Melbourne. There's a few. They're the only sort of Australian sort of ones you find is custom guys working in their shed making some good knives. There is a guy here, SAS guy. I can't remember the name of his knives. I'm sorry. All tool steel, CNC machined. They are made for special forces who do a run. From what I'm told, he does like a run of 1,000. And collectors buy them all around the world, and they sell for like $1,000, whatever it is, $500 a knife. But they are designed; they're only small. They're designed to basically kill someone. So special forces all around the world buy these knives, but the public can buy them as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So going back to what was being asked, I didn't know. So like in the United States, the historically known knife here is just referred to as a Bowie knife, which is a large, single-sided knife. I just didn't know if traditionally in Australia, if there was a historical example of a Australian knife, such as the curved blade of the Middle Eastern or Arab countries. I can't think of the name of those daggers or knives, but
no, there's really nothing significant to Australia as in a style of knife. No. Most people go out shooting and hunting because that's what most of our stuff for gun ownership is over here. They normally just everyone takes a skinning knife and a pigging knife, which is a pigging knife. I don't know if it's up here. I've got a real nice Spanish-made pigging knife, like a small Roman sword, long and thin, double-edged for sticking pigs. Because the pig hunting here is huge, so just with dogs and knives.
I see.
So everyone who goes out hunting normally has a pig knife and a skinning knife, pretty much. But there's nothing made around Australia at all. We got no significant sort of brand name or style of knife unique to Australia.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I've never seen anything.
Yeah. Yeti in there, he's saying Kukuri, nice of Harka. Sorry, I may not read so well, but Kukuri, I was just looking that up. Mostly of Nepal and India is where those knives come. Or it's very much like a machete.
The Gurkhas use them
Gurkha.
for the Gurkhas used them in World War II, fighting with the Australians and New Zealand troops. Now, they are some of the most feared assassins anywhere in the world in history. The Gurkhas, they could walk right up behind you, wouldn't even know that they're there. And they used to actually, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but the stories are I've heard they're the ones who used to collect ears and that from the people they'd kill. The British actually hired the Gurkhas to do a lot of the dirty work over in the Falklands War in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
They are really highly regarded people and very honourable people. My friend, I built a house for a guy who was worked in the mines in South Africa, and he was actually had a full-time Gurkha as a personal bodyguard in the mines in Africa.
Wow.
He
Wow.
said they're pretty great.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, that's something I learned. I wasn't familiar with the Kukuri or the Gurkhas, so that's something that that I learned about. So that's one of the reasons why I love these live chats, because there's something I learn every single week. So I really do. That's one of the reasons why I appreciate it. So so last week we were talking about with Matt from Fudbusters. We were talking about some of the new gun control laws that are going to be introduced or has been introduced into the House of Representatives. More than likely, there will be a few of them that have that will pass and go into congressional approval, and we'll see how that goes. One of the things that they're looking at doing here is by having a federal licensing for gun owners, and that's something that you touched on just briefly. Talk about what, again, we've talked about it several times, I'm sure, but for anyone who's new in the chat that hasn't caught our previous live chats, talk about what does it take for an individual in Australia to own a gun.
Okay, well, we got well, this is how they started the gun bans. This is exactly, well, just go off topic just a tad. Biden talked to our Prime Minister after he stole the election, and next day he came out and said that he was going to implement registration and everything. So basically, he's going to copy Australian gun laws. I can see that a mile off. Everyone can see that. Mm-hmm. So what they started here, the gun banning in Australia, was before they decided to ban the guns, they brought in voluntary gun ownership. Voluntary licensing. So everyone got a lifetime license, and then that soon turned into 5-year licenses for like $300 or something. And then they brought in the registration, and registration leads to confiscation. The only reason you have registration is so they know where that gun is at all times, and all your guns must be locked away. Mm-hmm. So you can't leave your gun out. Mine's locked. I've got 3 safes with guns, and they're all locked away at all times. The ammunition has to be locked away. Nothing can be on the shelf. Of course, we've got no concealed carry. We've got no self-defense laws. It's against the law to defend your life in Australia. We're one of the only countries in the world that that the victim becomes a criminal if you defend your family and your life. Mm-hmm. So it's happened many a time. So to get a gun license, all our we got categories, and I say this is what they're going to do to you guys. I reckon first they'll say you've got to register all your guns. You've got to get a license. So because that's a cash cow. You got hundreds of millions of people over there. That's a cash cow. Get a license, even if it's $100 a year or whatever. And then they say you got to register your guns. So now they know where all those guns are and what guns they are. If you don't, like over here, you get a caught with an unregistered gun, it's a mandatory 6 years in prison. So I reckon they'll do that. They'll say register your guns, and then they'll know what guns have what. Then they'll bring in categories. So we've got a category A, and so A and B is what the general public can get. So A is rimfire, and shotguns. So, but no semi-autos, they're gone, and no pump action. So we got a lot of the straight pull ones where you just pull back and drop it. It's a semi-auto without the return function sort of thing. And so that's your category A. Nothing over 10 rounds in some states for those, but in my state, Queensland, we can have endless rounds for your 22s. Then you got category B, which is centerfire rifles, no semi-autos, just bolt actions or break actions and all that. So you got that. So centerfire rifles are Cat B. Some shotguns have now been put into Cat B as well. So you can get that easily. That's not a problem. That's what you get. You get your gun license to get your Cat A and B. Cat C is semi-autos, no bigger than 5 rounds, and that's for shotguns and 22s only. I think 22s can have 10 rounds, shotguns can have 5 rounds, semi-autos, and that's it. And then you got your Cat D, which is everything you can think of, you can buy, but that you have to have you have to be like a big property owner and prove you've got a pest control. You've got to set up a company, and the whole system does cost a lot, and prove you're making money off it for pest control on farms and stations. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through. You've got to show taxes and all that sort of stuff. Cat C, you can normally get if you've got like a couple 100 acres, 100 acres or 200 acres, and you say you've got vermin problems. And I can get a Cat C if you have like a bad arm or a heart or something like that, and you need a semi-auto, but you can only use those at a club. You can't go take them hunting if you got it on like just a normal, like a license. You can only use it like clay shooting, but only be allowed to load 2 shells into it at a time, sort of thing. So, but you got to have a medical reason for that. And it's normally if you got like a bad arm or something like that, and you can't take the recoil. So that's in a nutshell. That's basically our system. No suppressors, of course, because bad guys use those in the movies, so we can't have those. So suppressors are gone. And guns are about 3 times the price of what you pay. So,
man, that really stinks. Now, the weapon collection, he makes a good point here, and let me get it from your perspective. He says the cool thing about Australian laws is it has caused development of some cool guns, like some of their lever action shotguns. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, lever action shotguns are pretty big here. They started off with a lever action, one called the Adler. They tried to ban, and they had to recategorize it. So what they can do here with your guns is, if they want to ban a gun, they've got Border Force, which is customs. So they can say, we don't want that gun into Australia, so they banned it. But the government have said, no, they can have that gun, but Border Force saying, no, we're not going to let that into the country. So that's a ban by stealth. So then they had the lever action shotguns became super popular, and then Gun Control Australia started crapping on, saying they are rapid fire death machines and all that sort of stuff. So there was an inquiry and all that sort of crap, and they got moved to category B. So they can't have 10 rounds in them; they can only have 5 rounds in them. And then some people started bringing out, and a couple of Australian companies started making guns, but they're frightfully expensive, like $3,500 for a basic gun. Straight pull guns, so you just pull it back and let go, and 223s, which look semi-tactical sort of look. So they get made here, but they're about $3 grand for an average one, and upwards. So they're becoming quite popular here because we can't have semi-autos. Another thing, what happened with the gun bans is contests died. International contests dried up, and at the time in 1996, an average international contest in Australia in a small town was bringing $2 million in for a week into that small town, and that dried up instantly because people couldn't come overseas and bring their AR-15s for a 3-gun contest. So a lot of contests is gone, finished. And a lot of people lost a lot of money, a lot of suicides from depression, a lot of lives were ruined, marriages were ruined, all because of John Howard, our Prime Minister at the time. And he came out several years later and said, I banned the guns because I don't like guns. That was it. Not about the Port Arthur massacre. I don't like guns, so I banned them.
Which is interesting because we have several politicians that are that way too. They don't understand how how some people rely or depend on a firearm for their own protection, and it kind of boils into this federal licensing um, law that they're trying to pass, which is a backdoor registration, but or it's not even really a backdoor; it's a front door registration, really. But they don't understand that the Democrats who are trying to push this, who are big fans of supporting, oppressed people or people, the poor or whatever, they don't really understand that this law that they're trying to pass is going to adversely affect the poor, and the fact that they're now going to have to pay for training, and then they're going to have to pay for a license and pay for probably range time every year to recertify that license. And I mean, what's that going to do? That's just going to create a black market, is what it's going to do. It's just like drugs, you know. When you ban something, you just create a black market, and that's how people get it. So,
Yeah, well, crime doubled overnight, basically, for gun crime, murders, gun shootings. The media will tell you, no, it didn't, but the facts say, yes, they did. Gun crime is huge here. Gun crime is absolutely huge. Down in Melbourne, there's basically a shooting every day. And we're meant to have these gold standard gun laws that our government keeps telling us about.
mhm.
But then, sorry, I forgot to mention, we do have a pistol license. They call it a concealable license, but you can't
Mm,
conceal carry, of course. But we've got a pistol license. There's lots of rules. Like half the pistols you have, we can't have because they're too short, kind of subcompacts or anything like that, or compact guns. So we have that, but you can only shoot them at a range. You can't go to private property. So I can take my long range shooting rig. I can ping targets at 2Ks, but I can't take a pistol that's no good past 100 meters.
mhm.
So that's just the way of thinking. And so you've got to belong to a pistol club. There's $500 a year. You've got if you own a rifle, you must belong to a rifle club, or you can't have a rifle.
Hmm.
And that's what they'll bring in. So you got
And
to
then
belong.
how much is the rifle club? I'm sorry to cut you off there. How much is it to be a part of a rifle club?
Just a rifle club, as in rifle, no pistols, because that's totally different. You're looking at about $100 odd, $150. You got some online clubs. There's an online club, some that are about $30. There is a new, the one's going to be starting up as well. So you just belong online. Some states, not Queensland, but if you have a rifle, you must go to the range several times a year and do mandatory shoots and write it down in a book. And if you haven't done it, the club phones up the cops and rats you out, and you lose your guns.
Wow.
Yeah. But with pistols, I had because I got so many calibers of pistols because it's all broken up as well. Another scam. My pistols all broken up, like rimfire, high cal, then like 9mm and 38 and 357 is another one. So I got to do 4 contests for every one I have. So I got to do 12 contests a year.
Wow.
Just turn up, and an average pistol club is about $400 to $500 a year to belong to.
Good night. Yeah.
So that's a sort of cost. It costs a lot to shoot pistols, and people don't. It's easy to get your gun license here because if you aren't a wife beater or you haven't been in prison or in trouble, you can get a gun license. It's not hard to get a gun license if you're a good person. Keeping it's a different story. They've just brought in laws here in Queensland where if you lose too many demerit points on your driver's license, they take your guns away. Because if you can't follow road rules, you're not going to follow the rules of gun ownership. So they're taking people's guns away now.
And that could be anything from going a few miles or excuse me, going a
Yep.
few kilometers over the speed limit,
Yep.
or failing to use your turn signal at a turn, or something simple like that.
Having your fog lights on during the day, you lose a demerit point.
Really?
If you are eating a hamburger, you lose a couple of demerit points.
Just for eating a hamburger? I mean, because I don't eat
You can't.
hamburgers anymore. I'm
You
a
can't.
vegan now, so
You, yeah. I'll just end this. I'll end this live stream now.
yeah,
Um, uh, no, eating while you're driving is considered being not concentrating or whatever. Some
correct.
crap. Like that.
Mhm,
Speeding tickets, they always seem to be putting demerit points up on speeding tickets, and
mhm.
Yeah, and if you get quite a few of those in five-year period, they just come knock on your door. You're no longer see. The thing is, the police commissioner has the final say, and you must be a fit and proper person. They say to be a license holder, so they can tell if the commissioner does not think you're a fit and proper person. Doesn't matter the reason, your gun's gone, and then
Mhm.
there's 15 grand to go to court with the lawyer to try and get your license back. Now, most people don't have that money, but we're lucky. We got finally out of all this COVID crap, we finally got an organisation that is actually fighting for our rights. The National Shooting Council, they formed, and they've paid several court cases with a barrister paid for people to go get their licenses back, and they'll give out free legal letters if you're a member to them, and and really help you through the court process. Or half the time, the legal letters and from their own barrister is enough to get your license back. But they've actually paid thousands of dollars for a barrister to help people out. I think they're up to like 12 cases
Yeah.
paid every year. And they're the only organisation actually doing that much to help shooters, where other ones just do token things. But our NSC is really going tooth and nail, and it's really good to see. And you can join. You can join them for, I think it's $35 a year, or I've got a promo code for $10 a year.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So, and they'll help you if you're a member. They'll help you out if you have trouble.
It's good. So it sounds similar to some of the organizations that we have here in the United States now, with like USCCA and Law Shield and stuff like that. So got a couple of comments in the comments section. The Grim Reaper in there saying that remind me never to live in Australia. And then Richard saying that he was asked years ago to move and he said no. And it kind of reminds me that just here over the summer, I think it would have been late July, August timeframe, I was offered a job from a company that looked like it would be very interesting. It looked like it was going to be a job that could kind of move me up the ladder in the field that I work in. And I said, I'm interested in what you have to say. And then they says, well, it's going to be in California. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, no, can't do that. Can't do that. Sorry, yeah. I'm unable to move, and I have my situation is such that I can use the fact that with my daughter and everything, I need to be close to her. So moving's not really an option right now. So yeah. So but there's no way I was going to freaking move to California.
Well, we would love California laws over here. They are awesome. It would kill to have California gun laws in Australia.
Who on earth would have ever thought someone would ever say we would love to have California gun laws?
Because you can have semi-autos, even though they're capped at 10 rounds and that, but you can have that. We can't have that right now. We can take our pistols. You can have short-barreled pistols. We can't have that. You can take pistols to private land in California. We can't do that. You can have pump-action shotguns, semi-automatic shotguns. We can't have that. The Californian laws, number one. We would love them. Bare minimum, we'd love California laws here.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's one of the things I've heard. I don't know if it was a meme or if it was, I can't remember exactly where it came from, but I heard or saw something mention that the current administration wants to make the United States California again, and I'm just like, that was a big kick in the nuts to hear that, because while I would say that I'm sure that there are a lot of great people in California, and I know that there are some places in California that are just absolutely gorgeous, that they're just, the politics from there is just so backwards. It's just, I don't get it. As Colin says, New Jersey looks great to us. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, Colin's a top bloke. What we were talking about before, a few of these guys here are regulars on my live stream, like on tomorrow night. And tomorrow night's subject we're going to do is, where's the best place for gun owners in Australia to live? Because every state is different. Like New South Wales, which is a state an hour from me at the border, not even an hour, they have appearance laws. And if it look like that pistol I showed you, that's banned. You can't have that 'cause it looks like a machine gun. It's banned.
Really?
They can't have adjustable stocks, folding stocks. I can have those up here in Queensland. You can't have them in New South Wales. So there's a lot of and like state laws as well that they ban a lot of stuff. So I
Mhm.
can't take some of my long range guns. I can't take them down to New South Wales and shoot on a long range course I know down there
Mhm.
because I'll lose my guns if I take them there because the Ruger Precision that's banned down there because it's a folding stock.
And
So
it's interesting to see that you go from is it a province? Is that what you guys call your different? It,
states.
you do call it states, okay? So the different states in Australia is very similar to what we have here. Um, I live in Kansas. Right next door to us is Missouri. Missouri and Kansas are very similar, but they're different. I mean, things that I can get away with here in Kansas, I can't get away with in Missouri. So that's one aspect, and it's very, very, very minute things. By and large, the majority of everything in Kansas and Missouri, as far as gun laws, are very, very, very similar. But there are few slight differences. I think, if I'm correct, in the state of Kansas, I can sell a firearm from one person to another, and that's it. Just like, you want to buy it, here's cash. Okay, there's your. And in the state of Kansas, the only thing that is required is a bill of sale, and that's it.
Is that like a receipt?
Yeah, just a receipt. That's all it is. If in Missouri, I believe that when you go into Missouri, you actually have to go through an FFL to have all of that done. You can't do a person-to-person private transaction. You actually has to go through an FFL. If I remember correctly, I may be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Which I don't even think that you guys you can't even do that in Australia, correct?
Everything has to go through a gun shop. And I reckon what's going to happen. It's only my predictions. I hope I'm wrong because I don't want anything bad to happen to you guys.
Mhm.
My prediction is registration, licensing, everything must be sold through a gun shop. Everything must go through a gun shop. Private sales as well. So no one-to-one sales must go through a gun shop. I reckon that's where they'll start. I reckon they'll start on magazine caps. And I reckon they'll start on categories. And once they've got the categories lined up, they will shift the goalposts. So guns start falling off those categories. And you basically got to be a gun shop to own a certain gun. Say, for example, a 50 cal. I can't have 50 cal here. Go to New South Wales, which is terrible gun laws, but they can have 50 cal. Uh,
Yeah.
like everyone says, oh, we need a uniform gun laws in Australia. No, we don't, because you think they're going to take the best of every state? They're going to take the shit of every state and make it really bad for everyone. Right now, at least they're all bad, but at least there's some good here in Queensland and other states. There's no magazine cap down in for centerfire rifles down in where is it? South Australia. So it's
Aussie capitalist says you can have 50 cal, just not 50 BMG.
yep. So we can't have any of that. Oh, you can have 50 BMG in New South Wales. Because I know one of the world champions of 50 cal who shoot over in America, he's down in New South Wales.
Hmm.
And I'm actually going down to his property to shoot some 50 cal with him, which would be good.
Joe Morgan says that Idaho is a Second Amendment sanctuary. So if you are a gun refugee, come here, but don't bring the gun haters. So, which is something that we're starting to see more and more. A lot more states are becoming what we call sanctuary states, where they just basically said, whatever the federal government says, we're not going to abide by it. And that's one of the great things about the Constitution, is it separates state law versus federal law. And there's a separation of the federal government and state governments. The state governments, their laws, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, will supersede federal law. So, and it's all about making sure that states have their own sovereignty, that they're not beholden to basically the premise of two wolves asking a sheep what's for dinner. They have the right to create and live under their own laws, and that's something I really do like.
Well, all our laws are state laws. So at any time, our states can say, stuff the NFA, which is an agreement. It's a natural firearms agreement. They've agreed to this. They can say, no, not semi-autos are back on the table. No, we'll bring it back. Anytime they can say that. It's not a federal law. It's a state law. And what happened was John Howard brought in GST, the GST thing, right? Basically like sales tax on everything. So he started off by saying, we'll never have a GST in Australia. See, GST, okay, we'll get into economics a little bit. GST around the world, countries that bring it in, you have no income tax because it's a user pays system. That's what GST is for. But here we pay mass income tax and GST, 10% on everything on top of that. So they brought in GST after he said there was never going to be GST. And he said, everyone's got to abide by this agreement or you get no profits from the GST because the GST goes to the federal government. Then they dish it out. So they said, you will not be getting any GST money if you don't agree to the firearms law. Because Queensland, where I live, said, go shove it. We're not doing it. And then they said, well, you get no GST money, which is hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And then they said, so they basically literally held a gun to the head of money. And they said, okay, we better bring in these new gun laws then so we can get our money. Sort of like Google and creators.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And we're seeing that in the United States too, on very specific issues. The federal government will say, well, if you don't abide by this law, then we're going to, we're going to not give you the however millions of dollars that we give you for public education, and see that's. I think that's a very sinister way to enforce federal laws against state sovereignty. So I've talked about it before, way back, I think in the 1970s, maybe the 60s. The federal government decided that they were going to make a nationwide standard on the speed limit. The speed limit was going to be 55 miles an hour. And I believe it was the 1970s because that's when we started getting into the oil embargoes and the gas crises. And the federal government says, to conserve on gas, we're going to make a national standard 55 miles an hour on interstate. And Texas said, nah, we're not going to do that. And the federal government said, you're going to do it, or we're not going to give you federal funding for your highways. And Texas said, that's fine. Don't give us the federal funding for the interstates and the highways. We just won't give you oil. And then the federal government's like, okay, Texas, you guys can do whatever you want. I tell you what, man, just something what Johnny B says all the time. Johnny Appalachia, he says, follow the money and you will find the truth.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's all I really had to say.
This is what our gun laws are. Our gun law, the best way to get voted in is to ban something. Mm-hmm. Banning gun laws, and for 22, 23 years, whatever it is now, 25 years, whatever, since Port Arthur, 1996, was rammed down everyone's throat. Public safety. The cops are all brainwashed. A guy down the road here, his son became a cop, and he said in the academy, bang, rammed into the heads. Guns are bad. No one should have guns. So cops here think you shouldn't have guns. They hate you. They hate guns. They're not on your side. They're not your friend at all when it comes to firearms. I've done jobs for police. I've talked about this out on my live stream as well. Jobs for a cop, and he just says, "I don't think any of you should have guns. No guns at all." And he's a farmer, part-time farmer, and a gun owner. But he said, "No, people shouldn't have guns unless you work on a farm." And that's this entire mentality. And it's drummed into the head for 30 years, now almost 30 years, that's been drummed into Australians' heads. Mm-hmm. And the young people in schools, and they're just lapping this crap up. And the weak-minded, just the city people, just lap it all up, and it's all they've been told. And now, when it comes to election time, oh, we're going to crack down on this gun. We're going to ban this gun. Vote for me. Vote for me. It's all about getting votes,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no better way of getting votes than saying you're keeping the public safe.
Yep. Oh yeah, and a prime example of that exact thing happening here in the United States is the BLM movement, all right, Black Lives Matter movement. Was something that was championed by the Biden administration, but the moment that President Biden is elected, you don't hear anything coming from his mouth about Black Lives Matter. You don't see any type of BLM, face mask being worn, T-shirts, nothing. He doesn't even utter it. They've even called the administration out and saying, after the election, the last time I saw a tweet about it was like BLM was saying 34 days since election and still no meeting with the future president. And I was like, yeah, man, because they got what they needed from the election. You're dead to them. They don't they're already implementing policies right now that is going to adversely affect the minority here in the United States. And I think that it's just, like you said, it's all about what's the wow factor for people. That's like, oh my goodness, this guy is going to do this for us, when in fact, there is very little difference between the former president and the new president, with the exception of the initial next to their name, whether it be a D or an R. And realistically, those two people are pretty much the same type of person.
We have the same thing here with these. I call them now on my show the fake pro-gun parties, because we got our own Joe Biden here. We call him Bob Biden, or Joe Biden with an Akubra. That's a classic Australian hat, the Akubra hat. So we call him Bob Biden, because 50 years in Parliament, done nothing, not one thing for shooters. When it comes to election time, he may make a comment, but then I went back on his Facebook post the other night, over a year, and not one post, and I stopped because I was wasting my time after a year, not one post saying we are going to fight for shooters in Australia, fight for your rights, not one. And we got an absolute dipshit YouTuber here, and he pushes him like no tomorrow. Absolutely pushes him. I was like, dude, the guy's been in Parliament for 50 years, achieved nothing. He bullshits to your face, and here you are pushing, telling everyone to vote for him. I tell everyone, don't vote for any of these parties. Don't vote for any pro-gun parties, because they're not pro-gun. They just sell you out. They're all lined with the big parties anyway who want to ban your guns. Both our Labor and Liberal parties here are both left-wing parties. Our Liberal parties are meant to be right-wing Conservatives, but they're not. They actually came out and said we line with the policies of Labor, which is extremely left-wing. Our Conservative Party is the one that banned guns in Australia. From our Conservative Party.
Well, I mean, realistically, people are the weapon collection. He says, asterisk bump stock, and it's interesting that a conservative President Trump, passed more gun laws in his 4 years than what Barack Obama was able to do in 8. And that stings. That stings to say, because I would like to blindly support all Republicans, but the fact of the matter is I don't. There are some people, a lot of people like Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw is a Republican representative from the state of Texas, and he seems like a good dude, but I don't support everything that he talks about. He says, even though he's a former Special Forces Navy SEAL dude, he's kind of hypocritical, and I like some of the things he says, and I call him out on the things that he doesn't support. So, it is what it is.
It comes down to a paycheck. Our politicians here, they're not going to jeopardize their big, fat, cushy job. They only sit in Parliament for like 6 months a year and get like $300,000. They're not going to upset their paycheck by telling the truth, are they?
Yeah. No.
The Australian public is so dumb here; they lap this crap up.
Yeah.
Shooters, a lot of shooters here in Australia are stupid as well. They lap this crap up. That Bob Biden over here, our Bob Biden, bloody feeds them. Our Pauline Hanson, she came to be pro-gun. She said they'll never change the gun laws in Australia ever again. I won't support anyone like that. I won't give you my vote. Why am I going to reward them for doing nothing? I'll just put a line through my ballot because it's compulsory. You must vote here. You get like a $300 fine. I'll put a line through it, throw it in the box, and that's done. I'm not going to reward someone for incompetence.
Yeah.
Even if just because you own a gun doesn't mean you're pro-gun.
Yeah, that is very, very true. There have been a number of Democrat politicians who got called out saying that they're supporting gun control, but they own certain firearms. And I think that while as bad as the capital city or the Capitol riots were in Washington D.C. on the 6th, that was just cringe all the way around. What it did do was expose the hypocrisy to show all of these politicians who are cowering behind desks, who are running away, who aren't man enough or woman enough to stand up to this crowd and say, hey, let's talk about this. Hold on a second. Let's talk about this, instead of running away like cowards. But yet these are still the same people who will vote to send our kids to distant countries to fight unjust wars, and I got sucked into it. I went to Iraq and Afghanistan and fought in wars that I now, come to do not believe in, should have never been there in the first place. Doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy my time when I was there. Doesn't mean that I didn't learn while I was there. But as a older, more hopefully, knock on wood, wiser man, we should have never been in those places to begin with. But as an occupying force. However, to see these cower cower, yet still send our youth to go into foreign countries and die for freedom or for America's best interest is pretty sickening. And then to also hear people like AOC say this very, very divisive rhetoric that she doesn't feel safe around Republican representatives. I'm like, are you serious? You're talking about, you're the party of unity. You're the party of unity, and you're sitting here talking about people just because they believe something a little bit different, when you guys are probably pretty much the same. You don't feel safe around them? That is ridiculous. That's completely ridiculous. Do you see the same thing with your politicians over there?
Oh, our politicians are complete dipshits. Every single one of them are complete idiots. They really are. They're self-serving. They don't see outside their bubble. They don't know what the real world is like. They don't know what real work is like. The ones that do come in from other areas of professions that aren't lawyers and businessmen, because that's all they are. Basically, most of our prime ministers are big economics people, lawyers, bankers. That's all they are. And when you do get the odd one come in, they see this who I can't remember his name. He's joined a fake pro-gun party. Anyway, he came in as he's a farmer, but man, I can tell you now, he saw the money, and he'll just fall in line. And see, I'm pretty sure they put in law over here. If you belong to a political party, you must fall in line. And even if you don't believe in it, you must fall in line and say what the party believes is right. And you don't speak out, because if you speak out, you're gone. And there goes your big, fat, dirty paycheck. I have no respect, no time for politicians. That is absolute filthy grubs. Every last single one of them.
Yeah.
And they'll bullshit and lie to your face and tell you what you want to hear when it's election time. and then it's all over. You just have to go. There's some great videos out there of we've got a party here, the Fisher and Shooters party. They're throwing shooters under the bus. Oh, I agree with the gun bans. Oh, no one needs a semi-auto. Oh, I don't need a pump-action shotgun, so other people don't need them.
Mhm.
It's like these and dipshit shooters here in Australia still vote for them and hang off every word that these numbnuts say.
Yeah, I have yet to meet a politician that I would 100% support, regardless of what they do or say. I would say that they have my, unflattered support. There has not been one. Now, ask me that question 10 years ago, my answer probably would have been different. But I'm more plugged into what's going on politically now than I have been at any other point in my life. So,
Yep, I agree totally. I would have been different a few years ago, but now I just don't. I don't care about politics. It's just as a non-topic, because no matter who you vote for, we got preferences. So no matter who you vote for, if your party doesn't get in, it goes to the two big parties anyway. So your vote goes to a big party anyway. A complete waste of time. I have no interest in it, and I think a lot of people in Australia waste their life worrying about it and arguing about it and fighting with their friends about it. I don't care who you vote for. If you're a good person, you're a good person. I don't care. I just don't care about politics. I'm just not interested. Politicians are filthy grubs, and that's the end of it. Don't trust them.
Yeah.
Like most of our police over here, you wouldn't trust as far as you could throw them.
Yep. Oh yeah.
They're not here. They're not your friends. Politicians aren't your friends, and the police over here aren't our friends when it comes to firearms. I just hope the police aren't watching tonight, because they want to knock on my door tonight.
Well, Jason Fisher, he points out, he says, I supported Trump for the economy and no new wars. And absolutely, I will support a politician who makes good, wise decisions, regardless of who they are. They could be libertarian, they could be Republican, Democrat. It doesn't matter. If they are pushing good policy, then yeah, I will support them 100%. But if they don't, then that's a problem too. I know that I saw something in the chat a little bit earlier that Biden's already sending more troops into Afghanistan or Iraq. I think I haven't been as plugged in the last 2 weeks. I've just been kind of exhausted with everything going on, especially after the first week of the year and everything that happened there with all of the political pundits going off about the riots in DC. Yeah, I liked the fact that Syria. You're correct. Thanks, Richard. The fact that Trump didn't engage us into new wars. He tried to pull troops back. His economy plan was doing very, very well until COVID hit. He had 4 historic peace deals between Arab countries and Israel, which was unheard of, but no one will ever talk about that. He didn't get he did more in peace, in brokering peace deals in 4 years than the previous administration did in 8 years, and he still won't get the Nobel Peace Prize because of his name, because no one likes him, and it's a travesty, But
exactly. We've got Aussie Capitalist here. Top bloke. He's on our live stream.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I like Trump for standing up to China and fighting for the globalist media.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. First thing I'd do, I've got to agree. If I got in Parliament, I'd be a pure dictator. No gun laws. All foreigners can fuck off. Simple. China, you're out. All the companies you've brought, you're gone. We're going to take them back. We're going to make them profitable again, and we're going to sell them off to Australians. That's what I'd be doing. But to Aussie capitalists, I support Trump for his shit posting. That's the only reason I support him.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. 4 years of making liberal cries. You can't beat it. You really can't. I wish we had a prime minister over here that actually stood up to people, stood up to China. China's buying everything here.
Mm-hmm.
They've infiltrated our government, our corporations. They brought Darwin, which is a town at the top end of Australia, which is like a 2-hour sort of a boat ride to Indonesia. China brought the Darwin port. Darwin port was used for the US frigates coming here. It was a US military stop. You know how the US government found out? They read the local newspaper.
Wow.
Our government was too arrogant to even tell the US government we've sold the port to the Chinese government. America said, we're out of here. We're not going to use your port anymore.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring up China and purchasing stuff. China started purchasing land in the United States as far back as 2016. A lot of people don't know that, but in Oklahoma, which is just south of here, there was a lot of land bought up by a number of Chinese conglomerates. In addition to that, some land was bought in the Caribbean by the Chinese government to build a military installation there. Whether or not they've started, I don't believe they have, but they have been buying up land in the Caribbean. So the Chinese influence here in the United States is starting to reach the same levels that you see there in Australia, I think.
Yeah, they bought our biggest farms and stations. Our big farms are called stations here because it is
Sure.
millions and millions of acres.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Western Australia, you can fit the entire the state of Western Australia, the entire US can fit inside it. That's how big it. People don't understand how big Australia is.
It is a lot bigger than I give it credit for. I can tell you that.
I think all of America can fit in just the Western Australian state, and that's only one corner of Australia. But I totally forgot what I was saying.
Well, we were talking about China and
China. Yes, they're buying up big stations and everything, and they said China will get all the beef from these stations before the Australian public do. And they've been doing environmental damage. They rediverted. China went and rediverted the water, the rivers, so it goes into their stations and that, which is highly illegal. They walk into court and go, yeah, we did that. Who do we make the check out to for the fine? Who do we pay for the fine? And they're still diverting water rights because you've got to pay for water rights if you're a farmer here. It's another tax, another way of getting shafted for trying to provide for Australians. And they just divert. They don't care. They don't even argue it. They said, yeah, we did it. So who do we make? They go to court and say, who do we make the fine out to? Clearing land is a big thing. They rape the land, they strip the land, the farms, all the trees. Highly illegal. I know a lady down the road here, she cut 3 gum trees down because they could on her fence line because they could fall over and she wanted to fix her fences. She spent 2 years in court. The Chinese buy a big station and they strip the land of trees and they just walk in and pay a few $1 million of fines and walk out in 10 minutes later. That's how ridiculous it is over here.
Yeah. A lot of chat. We bring up China, and there's a lot of chatter in the chat room. Thanks a lot, guys, for everything that you guys are doing, talking back and forth. Ghost Tactical jumping in there. Good to see you. Thanks for swinging by. I really do appreciate it. And I think we hit a nerve here when talking about China because well-regulated. He brought up, I heard China has troops on Canadian border. They signed an agreement with Canada to protect interests. And that is true. There are Chinese troops in Canada doing training of some sort. Don't know what that's all about. I haven't really looked too far into it because I know if I start reading into it, I know that there's going to be a lot of political spin to what is actually happening. So very tough to tell what's going on up there. Talking about Jason Fisher again, talking about what's going on with the pipeline. And one of the first executive orders that Biden put through was that he was shutting down the pipeline deal, effectively canceling upwards of 50,000 jobs for not only the people who work on the pipeline, but also the support workers for the pipeline. And he asked how much that's going to affect the economy. And I says, are you ready for $4 gas? $4 per gallon gas. He retorted and said that his state is already looking to put an additional dollar tax on gas per gallon, which is just absolutely crazy. He then asked, how much do you think that Joe will suck up to China? And I basically said a golf ball through a garden hose. So that's about, yeah.
Well, he had Chinese handlers at his inauguration.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they did.
I must say one thing. I do apologize. I was 100% wrong. Ghost Tactical is right. I just looked it up. America is a bit bigger than Australia. I got my facts really wrong. So I will always admit when I'm wrong. I'm not a Democrat, so I admit I was totally wrong. And I apologize to my American friends.
Hey, that's okay, because at the U.S. is 1.3 times bigger than Australia. I always assumed that Australia was bigger myself, but
yeah, so did I. I was even told that years ago that it was a bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I stand corrected. I'm very sorry for that.
You know what? It's very rare that a Marine will ever correct an Army guy. So I'll give that one to you, Ghost.
Well, talking about the American bases, it's very interesting. We've got a lot of American bases here because Americans are real good friends of Australia and New Zealand. And even though in New Zealand they got they banned all your nuclear ships over there because greeny crap, your nuclear ships can't come in, and you can't come into New Zealand if you're carrying nuclear weapons on your boats. But Australia, you got huge, like we got massive in the outback nuclear silos and everything here, which is quite amazing. But traveling, I enjoy cruise ships because I'm getting older, as you know, and I just love drinking lots of alcohol and looking at chicks. It's just a guy thing.
I mean, who doesn't? You know?
Yeah, so exactly. So
I know a few women that loves doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, give them my phone number.
No, they're looking at the chicks too. So
okay. Okay. Well, I identify as a female for that day, and so like I go out to Vanuatu because Vanuatu is a big destination. Love it up in Vanuatu. Go on a 7-day cruise, about $1,000. I do that several times a year, but not right now with the China flu. And they got a massive, like Noumea up there, French Polynesia, massive US Army base. It's absolutely amazing to see. Huge American flags, sculptures, and everything. And the Americans our military is so well respected up there. It's a World War II base, and if it wasn't for the US military, Noumea would just be a dirt road. But the entire infrastructure is massive there. Absolutely massive roads and everything, and that was all from the US military in World War II. Really interesting, great history. You walk all around the town. Okay, it's a bit of a gangland now, and but they got plaques everywhere talking about the US military, and they built this, they did this, they helped the locals out doing this. Really, really interesting, and it's just amazing, absolutely amazing.
Aussie capitalist, he asks, why does America have a lot of small states? A lot of them are tiny. And I told him, I says, we don't have to compensate as much, I guess.
She's saying Texas does, though.
Yeah. Texas and Alaska and California, they have to. And Bryce has it right. The larger states were formed after the development of the railroad. A lot of the smaller states, so like you're talking like Rhode Island, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Vermont, some of those smaller states up north, northeast, those were basically states that were formed because the community didn't particularly care for the way the laws that were set up by what would be known as kind of New England. New England was pretty much Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, all of that up there, Connecticut, Rhode Island, a lot of that was New England at one point in time. And they decided that they wanted to break things up into, the communities that felt that this is these are the laws, these are the way that we want to live life. So they broke them up into smaller states, and that's one of the reasons why we have a number of small states. But as you started to move westward, Kansas, when it was a territory, was the size. So north and south was the exact same size, but the length of it went well into like Colorado and pushing further into Utah as well, I think, if my geography is correct, until they finally scaled it back and says, okay, we're going to cap Kansas off here, and then Colorado, when it formed, okay, you're now this part of it, So a lot of it has to do with land rights, water rights, transportation with railroads and such. So we could spend a couple hours just talking about how all of that pulled together. So
yeah, the older I get, I like all that sort of stuff. That's for
I do
sure.
too. Yeah, I do too.
But yeah, so it's just over here, the American military to most normal people are really well respected, and they love having it here. You bring in so much to our economy. It's amazing. So the government should be actually bending over a bit more instead of giving it to communist China, a bit more to the Americans, because they come here and spend so much money in our ports. It's amazing.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Do Australian women actually like American men better than Aussies?
I don't know. I find most Australian women to be stuck-up bitches. I really do.
I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Yes, yeah, probably. Have you got money? Ban. Australian chicks all over you. Sorry to my female viewers who are probably watching this. The ones on my channel are fantastic. But obviously, I came here from New Zealand almost 30 years ago now. And chicks over there are a bit different. They, a bit more laid back. Came here, moved to the Gold Coast. So everything's fake tits, blonde hair. Look at me, image. Got to drive a BMW. I'm not an image person. I just wear cheap clothes, but have awesome toys. And that's about it with me. And I don't get into image, don't get into egos, don't get into image. So I came here, and the Gold Coast girls were just so up themselves. And just look at me, love me, look at me. Oh, selfies sort of people. And yeah, no, I just find most Australian women are just stuck up bitches who just think your shit don't stink, basically, and you owe them something. And there's something really special. I'm sorry, I'll just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
There's plenty more of you out there.
So a couple different things. I know that my brother, he was in the Navy and spent some time down in Australia through his Pacific tours that he did on the ship that he served on, and that's the first place that I heard about it, is that Australian women loved American men. That's number one. Number two, that it was reinforced by the HBO series. I think it was called The Pacific, where it talked about, it was basically Band of Brothers, only in the Pacific theater. They talked about the Marines in Australia kind of do the same thing. And then I see that Tammy jumped in there, a friend of mine here in Kansas. She stated that I have a friend who is a pilot, always got laid on Australia trips. So
yeah, a lot of Aussie girls are sluts. Yep. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, agree totally. Yeah, see, me, I'd much rather have an American lady because they have better values and they just seem to be nicer people. Aussie girls, Jesus, mine took me for my entire life savings. My fiance, who was an Aussie girl from Darwin. So, yeah, I burnt once. That's it for me. But yeah, no, definitely, I'd go for American girl. And this is a funny thing. What Aussie Capitalist said, and he's right. I won the US green card lottery about 15 years ago. I talked about this in my live stream, but I didn't take it up because the time wasn't right. I was in the lottery for year after year for like 10 years, and finally won it when I came here. So I couldn't. I nothing lined up, so I couldn't go to America to live. And now I get stick all the time about it on the live stream about not taking it. But now I'd love it. And in future, I'd love to come and live in America, even for several months, just live over there and shoot guns and make videos over there,
Hmm.
and then come back to Australia when I have to, sort of thing. But yes, yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, if I was going to get married, it'd be to an American lady. But then at my age, I'm just going to marry for money. That's it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, I'll just marry for money, so I don't have to work anymore.
I would say that if I get married again, which looking at the Magic 8 Ball, because I make all of my decisions utilizing a Magic 8 Ball. The last time I asked if I should ever get married again, it said signs point to no. But I'm getting to that point where if I were to get married again, I'm shallow enough to admit, or at least I'm honest enough to admit that I'm shallow enough to marry for money, or I should say that the financial aspect of getting married again would play very heavily into that decision. Not to say that I would just marry someone that I don't care for money, but we would have to be individually well off. Like I can take care of myself right now. They need to take care of themselves. We would split bills, all of that stuff.
Well, as they say, marriage is like, oh, is this the line for where I'm going to lose half my shit? That's exactly what marriage is.
Mhm.
No, I'd yeah, marry for money. That's I'm not going to hide it. Yeah, yeah. If yeah, I'm totally and utterly shallow when it comes to. I've lost everything. Had to start life all over again in my 30s. Ain't going to happen again.
Mhm.
I love my toys. I love my house. Love my property, and the building projects I got going on here. But yeah, I'm not going to lose that again. Not
Yeah,
in a million
no,
years.
yeah.
My lawyer told me only ever get hitched with a chick who's got just as much to lose than what you got.
I mean, that is a good way to look at it. It's an unfortunate way to look at it, but yeah, absolutely. So,
The older you get, it's harder to rebuild. That's for
yeah,
sure.
you're
That's for
you'll
sure.
you're going to hear a lot of click clacking. Everybody, my dog has decided to come see what we're doing, so her nails need to get trimmed. So you're going to hear her click clacking around here as she goes to get a drink.
Get that angle grinder out.
Man, I wish.
So I've got a question for you guys. For you and any of the American viewers here. Your constitution says you can own guns to stand up to tyranny and a tyrannical government. So how do you do that? Everyone I asked over there said we don't know. How do you do that without A, getting killed, and B, without getting arrested?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How does that work? Maybe is there like a sub paragraph showing you how to do this?
There's no roadmap to how it's done. Now, if you are someone who is inclined to if you're inclined to educate yourself and to read, if you're interested in reading, the Federalist Papers are a great starting point to understand how to basically stand up. Now, that is really tricky because we've gone into a time in our creation as a country, the experiment, as you could say, where we in the Constitution, it lays out three branches of government. You have the executive, you have the legislative, and you have the judicial, right? Those are our three. Man, I had to sit there and think about that one. But now we've entered into a period where we now have four branches of government. And the fourth one is the silent one that no one knows about until here recently. And the media, surprisingly enough, some of the media is starting to call it out. So we now have the executive, the legislative, and the judicial, and the fourth branch is the corporate branch of the U.S. government. And a lot of people don't really understand how that works. And we're starting to see how it is actually working with big tech, and how the CEOs, the corporation CEOs of big tech, is starting to skew and twist certain things to label certain people as domestic terrorists. So people who are just trying to stand up to the government and say, hey, this is not right, we need to look into this, and who are upset about things, and who are taking the Second Amendment into a literal aspect, are now seen as domestic terrorists, and they're using the mass media. Mainstream media is now using that rhetoric to further divide us. So you have basically the redcoats, who are the people who will lick the boots of the government no matter what they do or what they say. They're just going to like, well, the government said, so I just might as well do it, And then you have the true patriots, and those people who are trying to stand up and who are willing to lose everything. I mean, we're looking at the CEO of Parler is in a legal battle right now, fighting for his ability to maintain a a social media platform, and is suing Amazon for breach of contract. So that's good to see that he's got that going on. Paul jumping in there with $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much for that. He says, "Heck yeah, homie! Glad you're reaching out across the pond. Great guests. We'll have to do this sometime." Absolutely, Paul. Open invite to you anytime you want to come on. Just send me an email. We'll get it figured out.
Where is Paul from?
Paul is from. That's a good question. I think, Paul, you're gonna hate me on this one. I think, if I remember correctly, you're from Arizona, but he does a lot of traveling.
Cool.
He's supposed to be making a trip through the area at some point, and he's going to crash on my futon if he does swing through. So,
Well, make sure he cleans it off before I come over. And I
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I will. I will promise. I will have a sheet down, so any happy sauce that gets on the futon will be on the sheet, not on the futon itself.
Yeah, I'm happy to sleep on the garage floor. It doesn't bother me.
But no, back to your question, how do you stand up to them is a great question. That, and as Ghost Tactical says, he says that's the $10 million question. He also says, no offense, a revolution will not work anymore. They have the Air Force. As much as it pains me to say that, we can't defeat them. And I agree with what he's going towards, but at the same time, I would also point to Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Those three military engagements we've gotten into, and we've gotten, to be frankly honest with you, we've gotten kind of spanked. Yeah, we've gotten spanked a couple of times with insurgency. And oh, by the way, the government is now pushing us into a situation where they could potentially be fighting the individuals that went to Iraq and Afghanistan to fight for the country and got to see insurgency firsthand. And all those lessons learned, how to fight an insurgency, is really simple. All you have to do is turn the dial the opposite direction and you become an insurgent yourself. So how does it start? Don't know. How can it be done? It can be done very easily, because when you're fighting a uniformed military in civilian clothes, it's so much easier to blend in. Now, technology is where it's at. Can we fight a government with unrestricted access to technology? There's a picture floating around of the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, and it has all these little gray dots around the Capitol. Each one of those gray dots is when a user signed into Parler, and the government has, on that one day, on January 6th, every single one of those gray dots is a Parler user that either had their phone on, had their app running, or had signed into their app while they were at the Capitol building. And just think about that. The government has that information. How did they get it?
Well, I was on Parler for a while, and of course it's slow because no one knew about it. And then when Donald Trump got onto it, it went up a little bit. Then he hid his account. The 24 hours before it was banned, I went from 400 people to 1,100 people following me on Parler.
Yeah.
In 24 hours. Then it was banned. It stopped.
Yeah, I saw a quick increase in my Parler account as well. I had my account as soon as I was made aware about it, which would have been June, July timeframe, is when I started mine. Yeah, and I had like maybe, I don't know, 20 followers, and then right around election time, that's when it really spiked up.
It spiked up a little bit when Mr. Guns and Gear started following me. Didn't know me from Bar of Soap, and he followed me and commented on a few things, and a few people started joining. But then that last 24 hours, like 700 people overnight, then it was gone. But I'm saying, I said it last week on our show. I said, I'm happy to piss Facebook off. If there is an alternative, I will dump Facebook tomorrow. I'll just have it sitting there. The only reason I use Facebook for is I say on Wednesday night about to go live on the live stream, because then people come into the live stream, and that's basically about it. I will just have it sitting there. I'm happy not to use it ever again. If Parler takes off, I'm just going to be, when Parler gets back up, and I said by the end of the month, Parler's going to be up and running again, I'm going to pretty much just post on Parler, forget about Facebook. But unfortunately, everyone has to go there. The companies, and a lot of these companies, and I hate to say it, a lot of gun companies are woke companies. They won't go to Parler because they're scared and they're gutless. Hey, I'm first to say, most gun companies are gutless pricks.
Yep.
They won't go there because the stigma, because the left ram into your throat, racist, you white supremacist. Mate, if you're that weak and you're going to listen to some blue-haired butt muncher with nose rings saying, don't go there because you're going to be a racist, you're a dead company to me. I've got no interest in dealing with you anyway.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that a left-leaning media company, I guess is the best way to put it, Media Matters. They came out and did an article about the DC riots, and they said that if you were to have removed Parler from the equation, January 6th would have still happened. And the reason why it would have happened is because a lot of the communication was going through Facebook, but no one's talking about that. No one's bringing up anything. They're even talking about that there are several representatives or senators asking for an investigation to look into Parler and their role in in what happened in January 6th. But they're only naming Parler when you know that Facebook was used just as much as Parler, if not more. And Amazon said that they pulled Parler down because of incitement of violence, but and their lack of mediation. But of the 10 million users on Parler, there were only 60 instances of incitements to violence, and Parler took those down. But obviously, either they didn't do it fast enough, or it wasn't done.
It was rigged. No matter what they did,
of course,
no matter what they did, it was going to go. They could have banned thousands of Republicans, and it still wouldn't have been good enough. But yes, yeah. When Parler comes back up, that's me. Now they're all complaining about they belong to Russia. No, Russia, the Russian servers they're using. It's like, oh Jesus! American servers are pulling out because of the blue head crowd, and they've got to go somewhere, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
I did see that Well Regulated had a question for you. It says, do Aussies like Jason Falla from Redback One, or is he just mainly teaching? Are you familiar with Jason Falla?
What? Who's Jason Falla and what's Redback One?
There you go. So
Heard him.
he's never heard of him. Well Regulated. Sorry about that.
No, I'll look him up. I'll definitely look him up and send us an email, and I'll tell you what I find out. But no, yeah, like we're talking about before we started a bit about YouTube as well, about the a few funny stories and that's happened, and the way I'm changing my channel. Here in Australia, YouTubers don't really help each other out. I tried. I
Mhm.
approached another big reviewer, and he wouldn't give me the time of day. About a year after I started, I've talked to other people, and today is actually the anniversary of my new channel, because a lot of people, viewers, may not know that I actually got my channel taken down by YouTube, by the commies at YouTube,
That's right.
and it was a year ago today I started up again. So I lost 12,500 subscribers. And I was talking to, I'm not going to name them, but I was talking to another YouTube channel here in Australia, and they were saying they were always nice. Oh yeah, no, yeah, thanks for that. And I'm always compliment other channels. I think there's always room for more channels and more content here in Australia. But some people, my other channels, just no, no, no. I'm number one. I'm the best. No, let's take everyone else down. That's the attitude over here.
Mhm.
And I'm always saying, guys, make channels, start new channels. I'll support you. Awesome. We need more gun content, more, get our name out. And so I was talking to one, and I'd comment on there. They go, oh, thank you for that. And I sent them an email saying, hey, you ever want to do something? We'll look into it. Got them doing that. Then my channel got taken down. I sent them an email. I'm just wondering if you could just give me a quick plug so I can get some of my subscribers back. Silence. Nothing. Wouldn't even, never talk to me to this day.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even give me a little plug to say, hey, the channel's back up again. Wouldn't even do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up, because I just was made aware of someone making comments about me, and
Yeah.
the funny thing about it is what they were saying about me is true, is absolutely true, but then they're calling me a pussy and calling me a little bitch ass, and I'm just like, well, yeah, that's fine. The reason why they're upset is because I blocked them, and I don't want to be associated with them anymore, because they felt that they felt the need to use my daughter as a pawn in their argument,
Yeah,
and,
that when you bring a key was into it, that's crossing the line.
yeah, it is. I mean, if your argument is so weak that you have to utilize, kids as pawns in your argument, then it's already faulty to begin with. And then the final straw for me is that they had to screenshot and then post our conversation. Now, this individual did end up blurring my image out, so you couldn't tell that was me, but I know that people could, because I had someone who didn't even know who I was figure out who I was and sent me a DM and said, "Hey, I read through everything. You're completely justified in your point. Anything that you said was just fine." So I try not to get involved in that drama, and I'll be the first person to say, yeah, what that person said about me, as far as um, me liking a post that they didn't like. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. And I know the intent of the meme. I know the intent of the post. Um, was it edgy? Yeah. Did it paint a certain group of people in a not so favorable light? Sure. Um, was it meant in comedy? Yeah, that's what comedy is. Comedy is edgy. Comedy makes things uncomfortable. Comedy makes fun of things that shouldn't be made fun of. But that's the whole point. And for someone to get upset and then turn around and call, and talk shit on me, is immature, and it's just something I don't need in my life. And that's why I block them. I just don't need them, So it's interesting to see that you got the same thing kind of going on over there that we have over here. I'm just like this. There's no need of it. I will never say an ill word about this individual. I will never say anything about them. What they're doing and the things that they're trying to do for the gun community is great. And normally I would support them 100%. Unfortunately, we didn't see eye to eye in something, and then they crossed a couple of different boundaries that I would never do myself. And I was like, I don't need that in my life. So,
Gee, well, all I have to say is send me that meme. I'll stick it up, because, yeah, that's me.
I will have to go back and see if I can find it. I don't know if the account is even active anymore. If it is, I'll definitely send it. I'll DM it to you.
See, this is what people don't understand. On Facebook, I got almost 600 banned people
Mhm,
because you get onto my page and you act like a dickhead and call me a fuckwit and carry on and threaten me. I just ban you. And then people go, oh, free speech, free speech. Yeah, no, my platform's not free speech for you to abuse me on my own platform.
mhm.
Start your own page and start abusing me on your own page. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I don't care what you think of me. I don't know you. I don't like people in general. So I don't even know who you are. You really think your comments affect me? They don't. I just ban you because I don't want to. I'm just not interested. You're not going to be rewarded for abusing me on my own page by being allowed to see my content at all. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a free speech. My page is not a free speech for dickheads to abuse me on
Mhm.
my own page.
Yeah. And,
That's what people don't understand.
yeah. And that's the thing, drop it like a sky. He says, never mess with kids. And basically the whole situation with me was that they brought my daughter into it and says, well, what happens if it was your daughter? Would you still feel the same? And I'm like, well, what does my daughter have anything to do with what we're talking about? She has nothing to do with this. If you can't equate it to me, then your argument's already null and void. So it wasn't like they were messing with my daughter. They brought my daughter into the conversation that didn't even need to be involved in it. That's number one. And then Yeti saying, what, you had a different opinion from someone else? How dare you? I know. All right. It's fine. Like I said, there are very few people that I have that I know or may not know personally that I would ever speak ill of. I just don't do that anymore. I've done it in the past, and even when I was doing it jokingly, I think, let's see, it would have been 2 years ago, actually 3 years ago, this coming May, I got asked if I could ever fight another YouTuber, who would it be? And jokingly, I made a comment to another YouTuber. I said, it's going to be this guy because he's a jerk, and I was just being a dick, I didn't mean it to be, yeah, it wasn't controversial, I was just, whatever. And next thing I know, I'm getting text messages from him, and he's like, next time you want to run your mouth and do it. I'm like, I was just like, this is what we've gotten into. This is a joke. Everybody knows me. I mean, right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm a people pleaser. I mean, that's just my personality. I like to please people. Sometimes I'm a dick. Sometimes I'm an asshole, and I don't care if I please people. But other times, by and large, yeah,
I'm the first person to say I'm the biggest asshole out there. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care if you get upset by what I post. If you're that weak and get upset by it, yeah, good on you. You can act like a dickhead. You're just banned.
yeah.
There's only been a couple of people I've banned off every single platform, and they're out on every single page, and Australian shooting page,
Mhm.
abusing the crap out of me. And I get on there and go, oh, well, you're only upset because I had to ban you off every single platform.
Mhm.
Um, and you got to go somewhere else now to abuse me. I don't care.
Yeah,
I've got 600 people I've banned off Facebook.
yeah.
No,
And
I just don't care.
if people have problems with who I am or what I say, that's fine. And banning people, I've only blocked a few people. Um, I've blocked one guy who just went on this like tirade about me carrying my concealed carry pistol in the appendix position, and just went on and on and on. And I'm just like, finally, and he was like posting on every single video and just very nasty stuff. And I banned him for one specific reason, and it was for the same reason I banned someone else, because they started talking trash about my ex-wife, and started talking about saying things like your wife's in the military, I hope she gets killed by a terrorist or something like that, and just awful nasty things like that. And I'm like, no, you you don't get the chance to come to my page and say something like that. So I was just like, Yeah, I banned them, but very rarely do I ban people. People say stuff about me all the time, talking about my crooked teeth or my hair's all jacked up, or I mispronounce a brand name, so I'm getting paid for them. Getting paid by them. So this review's suspect. I'm like, oh, come on, whatever, dude. So most of the time, I just make fun of them and then post it on Instagram. That's what I do.
I do the naming and shaming as well. Like, I check this dickhead out, name and shame it, and then they're on other pages crying, "Oh, he really name and shames me," and for saying this. And I get on that page to go, "Yeah, because you're a fucking moron. That's why I name and shame you, because you're a moron." But yeah, that happens all the time, every week. But what these guys don't understand is, I don't care. I find it funny. I love trolls. I think trolls are hilarious because they just make themselves out look like dickheads. And the really good people that follow my page and watch my videos, they will get up the guys without me even saying anything and embarrass them. See, people don't like being called out, and that's one thing. As soon as they think they can get on your page and call you everything underneath the sun or abuse other people who are on your page. And I don't tolerate people who watch my page to be abused by some no-name dickhead. These people come to my page because they enjoy the content. They don't deserve to be abused by some knob. So I just get rid of them. Gone. See ya. You're out of there. No arguing. You're just gone. So it's just, I just absolutely love reading the trolls' comments. I just think they're funny. But when you name and shame them, they get so upset. I had one guy, it's about a World War II veteran. It was a post of a World War II veteran standing at the supermarket, looking dismayed with hardly any food, couldn't afford food. And I said, this breaks my heart. I said, we need to look after veterans and their older age, blah, blah, blah. And the guy goes, oh, they were brainwashed going to war and all this. And I got into an argument. I said, look, they weren't brainwashed. Their country was invaded. There's American veteran. The country was invaded. I think brainwashing is patriots. They want to go fight back. And went into a big argument. And then I thought, nah, stuff it. So I posted up his profile. Said, this dickhead thinks old veterans are brainwashed idiots. Within 2 hours, then he started abusing me. He said, I've got 10 emails over 2 hours. He had to shut his Facebook page down, delete it, because he got that much hate mail. And then I got a message back saying, oh, you're just a fuckwit because I had to close my Facebook down from everyone standing up for you. I said, yeah, okay. Well, maybe you learned your lesson by now.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm bringing up my comments right now, and I'm sure that if I scroll through here, oh yeah, here's one just from yesterday, posting on a video I did almost 2 years ago, and it's uncomfortable amount of eye contact. I'm just like, and I just reply, yes. And my mood light just went out.
Oh no. Oh no. Your sexy lighting.
I know, right? That's
okay. Now you got to make eye contact.
I know, you get more of this now. So
exactly. Uncomfortable eye contact.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just absolutely funny. I've gotten to the stage now. We talked about this before. I'm getting rid of the gun reviews, or just picking maybe one a month. Because I don't hide how much I make. I make $6 a video. That's what I get, $6. Yeah. So why am I going out? Okay, I filmed the video the other day. It was all day to film, all day to edit. So that's Saturday and Sunday gone. That's my entire weekend. I've got a job I've got to do as well during the week. So my weekend's gone for $6. I go to work. I make that in 5 minutes. So doing that for free entertainment. Hey, I enjoy it. So I'm going, like you, I moved to my live streaming. I do it with a good friend of mine down in Sydney, and we have a great time. We talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, on a Wednesday night, and I get to engage with people and talk to the public who support me, and it's the best time I've had ever on YouTube. And I make just as much money, and I don't have to get off my ass, and I sit here and talk to people, and I have a time of my life. I really look forward to Wednesday nights and talking to the public.
Yeah,
absolutely love it. They're really good people who are on there, and we get thousands of views. Like, as we're saying, got up to 800. Best was 1,800 people watching one night. Normally it's averaging 5, 6, 700, 800 per night watching at that night, and it's the best time ever.
Yeah, that's
So why am I giving free advertising to these gun companies and to be abused because I say something about a gun because some insecure person owns that gun and didn't like what I said about the gun he owns because it must be a reflection on him. Don't blame me because of your bad choices of firearms. Don't blame me because you bought a ticker, the most overpriced rifle in Australia ever. Don't blame me for that. It's your problem.
Yeah, and that's and just to clarify. You're talking about that you're not getting paid or anything, but we talked about this before we went live. Is one of the things that you're trying to get help with is just having a company say, here's a rifle, you're going to have to return it to us when you're done with it, but also here's some ammo for you to shoot as well. I think that's the support that you're looking for. Not that you're looking to get paid to say something good about the weapon. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No one has ever given me money to do a review. No one has said, here's $2,000, please review this rifle. The first thing, I've been given a rifle and here's the ammo for that rifle. I've got to pay for the PTA, which is the permit to acquire. So I forgot to say before, we've got to pay $40 every time we want to buy it. We've got to ask the government for permission to buy a rifle, and we've got to pay $40 to get that permission. So I've got to pay for that permit to acquire out of my own money. I've spent almost $40,000 of my own money in the last eight years to do these gun reviews to give people free entertainment. Do I regret it? Not one bit, because I've met some fantastic people and made some awesome friends. Met people like you and Hootie Hoo and Tal Floudermouse, who did amazing things for me when my channel went down, and a lot of great people here in Australia, people who live close to me. I've met them, barbecues at the gun shop, talked to best times of my life. I don't regret it one bit spending $40,000 on it, but it comes to the stage that I'm almost 50 years old. I've got to start thinking my future. I can't just keep pouring money out onto a YouTube channel so people can sit down in the morning with their cup of coffee and get free entertainment. I can't keep funding that.
Yeah,
it cost me about $800 to do a review, as in going out, filming it, coming back, editing it. It's an entire weekend gone, and paying for the shotgun one that comes out in 2 days' time. That was $100 in watermelons and rock melons, just in that. And then I shot other stuff I just happened to have lying around the house. There's $800 just in the targets. Then I shot half a carton of shells and slugs. I shot probably $100 in shells. And then there's all that time I did it. It just all adds up.
Yeah. So I will say that not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I spent 5 hours at the range and I shot 300 rounds of 9mm and 450 to 500 rounds of 5.56. So those of you in the chat, you can figure out how much money I spent just on one day of just shooting ammo, not even the cost of the firearm that I paid to be able to review it, because all of the pistols that I shot, pistols and rifles that I shot, I purchased myself. So purchasing the firearm, the ammunition, especially right now, what it costs right now to shoot it, and then my time. I don't even count my time, but shoot, just let me do my math here. Let me bring up my.
In Australia, that'll be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Right now, 9mm is actually cheaper in Australia than what you pay.
So the 5.56 alone, let's just say if I was able to, well, let's see, I'm going to have to redo the math on this one. We'll call it 450 rounds. I know I shot at least that, and we'll call it 70 cents a round. You're looking at 70 cents a round right now for 5.56. That's $315. I'm able to buy 9mm for 40 cents a round with where I'm able to get it here in town. And I shot 300 rounds of that. So that's another 120. So you're approaching $500 on just ammunition to do what I did at the range the other day. Now, I'm going to be able to stretch that material out to about, call it at least 4 videos. So, I'm able to balance a lot of that, but at the same time, I mean, $500 worth of ammo, and I'm going to make $30 off of a video, just from YouTube.
You've hit the big time.
I
I
know.
wish
I
I,
know.
wish I made $30.
Well, that's over the 4 videos that I'll be
Okay,
looking at. So, but
you're back to my figures.
yeah. I mean, I'm making, like, let's see.
I,
I'll show everybody my app here and see if I can my newest video. If I can bring it up, my newest video with the SIG M17. Go to analytics
I
and
like
go
that
to.
video because I love the SIGs.
Um,
Six Hour is one of the only people that actually helped me out.
yeah, and SIG's got their problems, but at the same time, they're one of the few companies that's actually fighting for our rights. So this video has been out for call it a week, and I have made a whopping 26 cents
Oh,
on that video. So that's my newest video. If we go back, let's look at one of the other ones that I did. The one before that, revenue. Oh. This one's kind of spiking a little bit. I've made $19 on that one. So $19.24. So
just trying to get my Australian internet to work when the cogs turn over, and I'll be able to tell you what some of my recent gun review videos make. That's my reply, and as I'll be talking about tomorrow night, is I'll match 1-to-1. So as soon as I get about $400 in donations from super chats on Wednesday nights and Patreon, I'll go out and film a gun review, and I'll put in another $400 of my own money. I'm also thinking, guys, say in the comments here, let's just hear what you think. Here's an idea. What I'm thinking about is getting a product, a scope or some projectiles or something like that, and give them away if you lay a fire and you go into a drawer, and I'll draw it out at the end of the show for $5 super chat. I will and like for a couple of hundred projectiles or a scope. Maybe if it's a scope worth $300, it might be a $10 super chat, and every $10 you spend, you get your name down. You spend $50, you get 5 chunks of the pie.
Yep, raffle. Yeah.
Which is no, not a raffle, because that's illegal in Australia.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Not a raffle.
No, not a raffle at all.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, and that's actually a great idea.
You watch the trolls come out. Oh, you're just money hungry bastard. You know,
I know.
blah, blah, blah.
Well, you've got larger channels. I mean, there's a channel that I don't even watch anymore. I can't even be a part of that person's community. And unless you super chat, he won't read your comment. And
same with one of the guys here.
Yeah.
I won't talk to you unless you are a Patreon. For fuck's sake, I talk to everyone. I don't care if you're not a Patreon. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate it, $200 a month. But, excuse me, knowledge should be free.
No, absolutely.
But please, I just do ask people, maybe just do a little bit of a Google search for your answer, ask a question, because most things can be found by a Google search.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I couldn't do that. I cannot do that at all. Everyone who watches my show, I really appreciate it, and they are awesome. So it's not. I get about up to 30 messages a day of questions about guns. I try and get through them. It takes me a little while, but yeah, I just do say please do a quick Google search before you ask the question, because that's all I do.
Yeah, and it's funny So before we get into my next comment here, super chat or PayPal is a question from Yeti, and the the easy answer is PayPal. The reason why a lot of YouTubers say super chat is because it pings us in the chat. It's visually there. Yes, YouTube, the Googles is going to take a larger portion out of your super chat. So some of it is going to go to big tech. But if you don't want to participate in super chat, yes, PayPal is an option. You have a PayPal set up for your channel?
Yes, Colin Penfold, he donates to PayPal, so which is really good. I've got to start trying to push the PayPal thing, but people do seem to like it on the night, though. You talk and you bring their comment up because I always read their comments.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of like a bit of give and take. It's a little bit hard. And as you said, people like it. Bang, hit super chat. I read the comment, and they like to converse with you. Because I get probably, I'm not exaggerating, man. I get like 1,000 comments, 1,500 comments a night, and I'm trying to read it. And I got my mate Jason, and he's reading them out. He reads comments that I don't even see, and it's really hard. And then we go off a tangent and start abusing the government and the police and that, and then and expose their corruption and that. And then we come back to the topic. Some nights will be an hour before we even get into the topic because we have got so much to say. And we're trying to read comments, and in between we're trying to read the comments. We can't read everyone's comments, so it's just really hard. You know what it's like. I'm reading these comments here. There's fantastic comments from awesome people I've never seen because they're your viewers. So I hope we can do a bit of a they come over to me, and I hope the guys that are here from my live streams come over to you.
Absolutely. That's one of the great things about these live chats is the cross-pollination of our channels, and your guys come over to me, my guys over to you. And by all means, guys, if you haven't already subscribed to Shooting Stuff Australia, please do. Richard, he's asking, does Patreon take any of the money like YouTube does? The short answer is yes. How much of that money? I've really haven't done a deep dive into it, and
a lot
they
smaller.
charge. Yeah, it is a lot smaller, and but they also are now starting to charge tax on your donation as well. So how that kind of boils into each other, I'm not sure. I'm not very good with the maths and the monies. I'm broke right now, so
yeah, me too. Me too, is what all the viewers are going to see in about 6 months' time. Why I'm broke. Here's one of my, not the super chats, not the live stream, but this is the last video I put out. 308 versus 306 shooting peanut butter. Did really well, about 2,100 views. So here we go. $7.19 American. And that's what I get. And that's a good video.
Yeah.
A couple, and I've hit big time, real big time. I got $16. It's like, yeah, I'm going down to McDonald's.
What did you get from McDonald's?
All that gets us is a Big Mac meal.
Oh, well, I can't do Big Macs anymore. I spoiled myself of them when I was a kid, so I ate too many of them.
We've only just got Taco Bell opened up here.
Oh, good. So you get the non-meat meat. So
what do you mean? I've been eating it.
Taco Bell got sued because they were calling their ground beef meat, and or they were calling it ground beef or whatever, and they were sued because the legal definition of ground beef didn't accurately depict the meat that's in their burritos and stuff. So Taco Bell ended up winning the lawsuit, but it raised a lot of questions as to what's actually in the meat.
Well, IKEA got done, not in Australia, got done overseas in Europe because their Swedish meatballs were made with horse.
Oh, wow.
I got no problem eating horses because I'm not a horse person, and my ex-fiance was a horse person, and I hate her guts. She took everything of me, so I'm happy to eat horses.
Well, there you go.
Hey, today is Australia Day.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations. Day. Yeah, Australia was founded in 1788. Um, so we won this country. The Indigenous people didn't fight hard enough, so we own it. That's controversial, and I don't really care. So today is Australia Day, and you've got to put some shrimp on the barbie and lamb. Lamb's a big thing on Australia Day. I say put a damn horse on the barbie.
Why is lamb a big thing?
It just is. Lamb on Australia Day. We got I can't remember the guy's name. We got big funny ads with the guy, but actually it's gone a bit woke this year.
Mm.
Of they don't want this dude. He makes funny ads about lamb and that, but they push lamb on this day for some reason.
I mean,
But,
I could understand. It's like for Thanksgiving we have turkey. Turkey
yeah.
for us is a thing because the first Thanksgiving that's kind of that's a game animal here in the United States is turkey. So and fun fact for a lot of people, the turkey was almost our national bird.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, instead of the bald eagle, and it's actually if you look at a turkey and how it lives its life, it's actually more representative of the United States than a bald eagle is. So, but yeah, that's
We got bush turkeys over here, and I got them in my yard. Against the law to shoot them, of course. It's against the law to shoot a snake, so you can't kill a snake either.
wow.
Yeah, and we have the top 9 most deadly snakes in the world in my backyard here. Not uncommon for me to walk out from where I'm sitting now, 5 meters out the window here, and see a king brown snake just cruising along.
So,
You
what are you
get
supposed to do to, you know, to
just walk away, stay really still, and let it pass. Because yeah, if you
I
get
mean,
caught killing a snake, oh man, it's like a $20,000 fine.
can you not trap them or try to exterminate them or anything like that?
If they're in your house and that, you can call someone,
Hmm.
and they'll come. But they only got to relocate it to like the nearest public park. A king brown. Well, by the time you pick your shovel up, right, to hit it, a king brown has struck you 12 times. You're dead within like 15 minutes without medical help. Time you go like that, 12 times it's bitten you.
Hmm.
I had one in my house, not a king brown. It was, thank God, it was. I know snake's a snake. A good snake's a dead snake. And I stood on it because I'm really bad. Because I live in the countryside,
Hmm.
and I had I left I'm real bad for leaving my doors open. I'll go 400 meters away is my letterbox, so I walk down there, but leave my door open. I'm just not thinking. And I had a snake in it. I stood on it, and it went up inside one of my very expensive stereo speakers. So I blasted Metallica for about an hour, and it never came out. I took it outside and shoved a wire in it, and it just came out and shot out for about 5-6 meters like an arrow. Turned around and ran towards me, and I jumped inside just like being back in Nam, and did a barrel roll, slammed the door like an absolute ninja, and just heard a big boom on the door coming for me.
And that's probably one of the reasons why I don't think I could make it in Australia. Is because you have some of the most vicious animals there ever.
Oh, we do. And the worst are bogans.
What is a bogan?
Someone with a mullet.
I thought it was some type of slang for some type of like spider that you have over there or something like that.
No. Bogans are one of the worst animals you can actually get. Yeah. Mullet, drinking VB, and yeah, not right. The bogan creatures are out everywhere today, being Australia Day.
Well, I bet.
I'll give the bogan creatures one benefit of the doubt. They are patriots.
Yep. That is that I could definitely see that. I could definitely understand that. I did see that Liam Cumbo says that so many young people on Instagram is calling. Where did it go? He's basically saying that what we talked about prior to. Oh, he retracted it. I see it. But basically, what we talked about before we went live about Australia Day and calling it
all the Aborigines, yeah.
Invasion Day. Yeah.
Amazing how no, if it wasn't for us, they'd still be living in the Stone Ages. But what they don't understand, this is going to be controversial, and I'll probably have a SWAT team on my front lawn in a couple of hours. Was if it wasn't for us, they'd still be living like they did 50,000 years ago. And I've got more. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. No, I'll tell you off camera about this one. But no, but they want to complain and bitch about absolutely everything, and but they're happy for our welfare. They're happy for our booze. They're happy for our drugs.
Oh yeah,
and they all brought it in by the Europeans.
Yeah, I mean it's it's very telling. It's interesting that you bring that up, and regardless of where you stand on that aspect of whether it was invasion or not, it doesn't matter. The fact that our Native Americans or the indigenous people here in the United States, they hadn't even utilized the wheel when we showed up. And they still weren't utilizing the wheel well into the late 1700s, early 1800s. They were utilizing just freaking sheds or sleds, sorry, sheds, sleds rather, that they would attach to either dogs or to their horses. So even into the 1800s, they weren't utilizing normal aspects of what we would see as livelihood. Yeah, like most Native Americans weren't utilizing fixed structured housing. Now, a lot of that has to do with their nomadic ways and following game animals as they would migrate from the north to the south or south to the north. So that's kind of understandable, but at the same time, I mean, some of the things that they were still using, and had we not been here, who knows how much longer they would have been using it. So we could get into a very long and probably politically incorrect discussion about whether or not, discussion on whether or not we helped or hindered their progress. But at the end of the day, I mean, we all now have smartphones,
Well, my friend was, okay, I got two stories here. My friend was in Las Vegas, went to the Grand Canyon, and they went on a helicopter ride, and they talked about the Native Americans in the canyon and that. And the helicopter pilot said to him, our Native Americans are our problem, like your indigenous Aborigines are. They compared them 1-to-1. But I've got a lot of great Aborigine followers on my channel who are very nice people, and they don't have that gimme mentality. Extremely nice guys, hunters up north in the outback, lovely guys. They're not the gimme culture. And that is going to be the downfall of society, is the gimme culture, gimme everything. And I remember in Africa, I remember what is it? Andrew McNabb, SAS soldier, the most decorated, Bravo 20, one of the most decorated SAS soldiers in the British ever. Amazing guy. He said the Africans, like most indigenous people, are a give me culture. Everywhere went, gimme. And they got sick of this, and they used to give out fire starters, little fire starter cubes with strawberry jam on it to them, and watch them eat it. They soon ran off and never asked for anything else again. If you don't know who Andrew McNabb is, go read his book, Bravo 20, one of the most fantastic escape stories you're ever going to hear.
I'll have to check that
the
out.
guy went through. Sean Bean played Andrew McNabb in the movie.
Did he die?
No, he didn't. He writes some of the best novels there is right now on espionage. Guys, mate, he wrote a whole series. He wrote Bravo 20, which is about being caught behind enemy lines in Desert Storm doing recon. Amazing. Purely amazing. How he escaped, had his face kicked in. All his friends were killed. 5 of them fought off 500 Iraqis single-handedly, and how they escaped out of Iraq. A Kiwi guy, a New Zealand guy, not far from where I grew up, was a part of the crew. He got out another way. They got over the border. Andrew McNabb was caught, and one of the most touching things you're ever going to hear from a vet was he was in a cell, dragged around and beaten like a rag doll. And the guy was from England. He had him in a chair, naked. He said all he thought about was, this guy's going to cut my dick off. And he sat there, and the guy said, I'm from England, and I went to school here. I know this. And Andrew McNabb knew every landmark and every little detail that this guy was talking about. He was an English citizen. And he escaped. But then the second book was about how he got into the SAS, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing how he got into the SAS. A child soldier, 16 years old, got in, fought in Northern Ireland, killed his first guy at 16 years old and in Northern Ireland. That was amazing. The third story is all about the psychological, about how every one of his team in Bravo 20 topped themselves. And he said, I've never had that feeling. I've never thought I'd ever go through that. And I've dealt with veterans because I support our veteran community in Australia like no tomorrow. And a lot of people don't know that. And I really do support them. And I talk to these veterans in Australia, and I support them 100%. And I don't ever advertise that on my channel at all, because I just don't do it. I'm not looking for that sort of recognition, but I really do support them. And I've talked to wounded vets and give them help. And I even tried to start a charity up and tried to start a thing up with wounded vets going out hunting and like target shooting, but just all the loopholes was for the government were just too big, and I couldn't do it. And that's something I'm really passionate. I really want to do, but the bullshit in this country just shut me down. And I've never talked about that on my channel, but it's something I'm really passionate about because all my family's been in the army, but I didn't take that. I went a different way, being in construction. But go see Andrew McNabb. Read his books. The 3 true story books are amazing. Then he's got a series of espionage books. And he did that shit. You don't know that stuff unless you did it. Yeah. So when he talks about MI6 and being infiltrated, and that stuff. You must have done that stuff to know that stuff.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I asked if he died is because you said that Sean Bean played him in his movie, and
everything.
He dies in everything. Every single movie. Yeah. I can only think of one movie off the top of my head that he hasn't died in, and that was Ronin. But all the other movies, and I know there's other movies that he hasn't died in. I just can't think of them. But Ronin is the only one that I can think of that he didn't pass in.
He was quite young because that movie was made years ago. I think it was a TV movie. But look it up. But read the book. The book's amazing. How he got out of Iraq he got out by they commandeered a New York taxi in the middle of the desert. Someone had a New York taxi. And they commandeered it and drove over the border in a New York taxi.
Yeah.
the torture. And all he said was he was there with a couple of other friends of his team were caught. All he thought was a human touch. He laid on the floor naked in the snow on the concrete floor in this jail, and his friend just touched him, and that was it. Put his hand on his shoulder, and that was it.
Yeah, it's amazing what your mind will endure and be able to go through with some of the most small little things. Just someone saying one sentence to you, or even one word to you, or someone putting their hand on your shoulder and being able to see, being able to know that you can make it through something, so difficult that you never think you'd be able to make it through. It's really interesting.
And
So
that's what's so different about what you and me do online with all the scum and trolls and dirtbags out there. I'm not going to lie. Most people on the internet are pure scum.
a
Um,
lot of
the,
horrible.
the power of positive comments and positive feedback and just being positive in life is just amazing. It really is. Like caring for someone or just being supportive of someone, even online, being supportive, saying, "Hey, great video, loved your video." That goes such a long way.
Absolutely.
And yeah, or someone like someone I don't ever expect anyone to donate to my show, but when I see a super chat or a new Patreon, even if it's a couple of bucks, that goes a long way with me.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I don't ever expect anyone to donate. I do what the best I can to keep track of the super chats, or the regular chats rather, not the super chats. Obviously, super chats are going to get priority, but I also try to make sure that I'm following the regular chat as well to pick up on certain things. So
Yeah,
it,
I
anything that anyone's able to give to support the channel, regardless if it's mine or anyone else, is greatly appreciated. And I know that it's a tough thing to talk about, because people are like, oh, you're just in it for the money. But if I could, if I was brave enough to show you my finances.
yeah, me too. Oh,
Here's a great thing, and this is going to be extremely embarrassing, and who knows? It doesn't matter to me, but but I have started donating plasma just
oh,
to put money aside to to pay for whatever I need, regardless if it's for the channel or not. But most of it has been like paying for ammo, uh, or repaying my savings account for the last pistol that I bought, or the one that I'm paying for now, or whatever the case may be.
geez, you are dedicated.
Yeah, I mean it. To be frankly honest with you, it's probably going to get to a point where that money that I'm using for plasma, the money that I get from plasma, is just going to be slush fund or whatever. But at the very least, I mean, it's something that I can do to help pay, because I mean, there's
Well,
there's really no money in it.
as we said just before, I'll match 1-to-1, but I just can't. 8 years, dude. 8 years. I can't keep funding this for free entertainment. And 99.9% of people are fantastic, and it's just great. And that's why I love the live streams. Love being on here with you, Hootie Hoo, and meeting other people as well, and doing my live streams on Wednesday nights. This is what it's all about. I get more reward out of talking to people than going out and shooting a gun. So it comes to a time in your life where you just got to say, hey, can't keep this financially up anymore.
Mhm.
I talk about this quite a bit with my friend Jason, who does the live stream with, and he's the same. He's one of the world's largest podcasts for hunting and shooting and fishing, and he said the same thing. It's a lot cheaper to make a podcast than it does to do a video, but he said the same thing. He can't keep shelling out. Like his microphones are worth $800 a pop,
Oh wow.
stuff like that. And he just can't keep my camera's on its last legs, the camera I use for the show. And it's $1,000 or $1,200 I priced up for another camera. I can't afford that. Now I'm about to turn 50 in a year and a half's time.
Mhm.
And I've got no super. I've got nothing when I retire. I've got to start trying to sort myself out.
Yeah.
I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as much as I love doing this, if it ever becomes a complete financial burden to me, I'm just going to do live streams once a week. That's it.
Mhm.
Live streams on guns.
There's and that's the thing that I've kind of prided myself is, I invest about 20% of my paycheck, it goes into either 401ks or IRAs or other investments. And, that's just me paying myself. Now, I could easily reduce that percentage down to maybe where I'm just donating to my 401k for my job and have a lot more money to be able to put forward to X, Y, and Z. But I'm not prepared to do that. I want to make sure that I'm at a point in my life in the future that when it's time to retire, I'm going to be able to say, okay, it's time to retire. But at the same time, I'm not the type of person that could ever just sit and be idle. I would have to do something. So
Yeah, I'm like that too, because we talked about what I've got coming up. I've got to keep busy the whole time. Like I was busy right up to 5 minutes before I got online. I'm outside fixing up my property and doing stuff. And after this show, I'll probably spend 2 or 3 hours outside working something. My lawnmower just threw about, so I got to go fix my lawnmower, ride on lawnmower and stuff like that. Even though it's Australia Day, I should be going out tonight with having a barbecue with mates, but I've got stuff to do.
yeah.
And but yes, it's yeah, you want to say this stuff, but you don't want to really upset the people that follow you, because
Sure. Yeah.
You don't want to think that you're having an attack at them, but you're not.
Mhm.
But most normal people will understand. But you're going to get the small percentage of people, give me your free entertainment, you dickhead.
Yeah. Yeah. There is. There was so a few years back, Johnny B, or 182nd Ideas, or Johnny Appalachia, whatever you want to call him.
A few times. Nice guy.
He shut his channel down for a bit,
Yeah.
and there were people in his comment section of his last video. He didn't like just turn. He just turned his stuff off. He's just like, I'm just not going to post anything, and and so his videos were still there. He just wasn't posting anything new. And some of the comments was pretty vile. Just like you said, there's a lot of vile people on the internet. And some people were saying things like, you built your channel on our backs and our money, and how dare you, just leave us and everything. I was like, he made free content, all right? Just because you donated to him doesn't mean that he built something on your back. That's not how it works. It's completely voluntary. You don't have to watch his stuff. It's just the insanity that's out there is it's remarkable.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, I get that all the time. I haven't posted a video for 3 weeks.
Mhm.
I put a live stream every week. No actual video, gun video, and no one said anything. They didn't miss me. They don't give a shit about me.
Yeah. Yep.
No one said anything. But if I got a video coming out in 2 days' time. But if it wasn't for that, yeah, I'm wondering how long I could last before someone says, "Oh, where's your next video?" Because I used to get it. I used to do 2 videos a week. And I used to get and a live stream, 2 videos and a live, so 3 videos basically a week. And I'd get, if I only did 2 videos or 1 video a week, it'd be, "Oh, where's your next video coming?"
Yeah.
Right back to, where's your Patreon money?
Yeah.
Well, I can't afford it. Next week. Hey, okay, sorry guys, we're going to upset people, but how many times have you heard, I'm going to donate? Oh, just when the next paycheck comes in. Oh, next week.
Yeah.
Oh, next month when I get paid, and it never happens.
Yeah, it is what it is. I'm going to do as much as I possibly can, as often as I can, as long as I have the ability to do it. It's just, for me, it's just right now, it's a passion that's turned somewhat into a business, but I'm trying to keep the passion alive in it so that it doesn't overwhelm me. So there may come a time where I may have to, dial things back and maybe only do 1 or 2 videos a month, just because I may not have the time, may not have the financial aspect or the financial ability to do it, especially if ammo prices keep on going the way they're supposed to.
Well, that's the stage. After 8 years, I'm at that stage now.
Mhm.
Dial it back a bit, do the live streams because I'm connecting with people, and our live streams aren't like this tonight. It's more talking about news and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and then we go on a tangent and
Yeah.
all hell breaks loose, basically.
Yeah.
And so basically, I'm happy to do that. I'll do one live stream a week to the day I die. So I'm 80, 90 years old,
Mhm.
but I don't have to get off my ass, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I
do
mean,
you do,
go ahead. Go ahead.
do you find for me, after 8 years, I'm going like I filmed the gun review the other day. Fantastic gun, had a lot of fun because a good friend of mine came out and helped me out with the camera work. I'm teaching him how to use the camera because it gets a bit much to go out by myself to the farm and set everything up. It takes me forever. So he comes out and has I'm showing him how to use the cameras. I'm getting into a lot of drone work as well. So I'm teaching him how to use a drone and that. But do you find when you go film a review or a gun, one of your gun videos, it's sort of you're not excited. You're not excited about shooting. It's like this is a chore for me. It's like you're not enjoying that gun because okay, now I've got to set this up. Now I've got to set this up. Now I've got to do this. And now I've got to talk about this. It's not like you're just having fun and shooting. Because what I did, I remember that 6.5 PRC I showed you last
Mhm.
year.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
finished. Now it's a $5,000 shotgun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it just blows the bullets apart. This centrifugal force is spinning them too fast, and the bullets are shattering. So I took a break. Apart from that aside, I went out every few days to the farm and just did load development and trying to not get and try different muzzle brakes
Mhm.
and try and get this thing shooting. And even though it didn't work, and I've got to do more research, um, I actually enjoyed myself because there's no cameras.
Yeah.
Enjoyed sitting on the farm on 500 acres in the middle of nowhere, just enjoying myself. There, myself. I actually brought I live 3 minutes away, and I can be on my 1,000-meter range.
Mhm.
3 minutes from my front door. But I took my own lunch. I sat there, had lunch, enjoyed myself, drove around the farm because I always check the fences on the farm for the farmer, and had an absolute ball. No
Yeah.
cameras. Didn't even load a camera up. Didn't
Yeah.
even take a photo of the gun.
I will say that when I'm heading to the range, I'm sitting there going through all the different things that I want to accomplish, and it is a chore. It is a chore, like especially setting everything up right here to actually film the discussion of the discussion part of the video is very much a chore. When I get to the range, setting everything up, getting things ready to be able to get the camera angles, everything, pulling all that together is very much a chore. Once I actually start shooting, I always have a blast. And you're correct in what something I did about 2-3 months ago. I took a friend out to the range, didn't film anything at all, and we just ran drills. And I had a blast. I had a blast just doing that, kind of pointing out some of the things that I do, and then see how that worked out for them. They liked it. They said, "Yeah, I think I'm going to do that from now on." And yeah, I had a blast. I didn't have to worry about film or anything like that. So, but yeah.
Well, the shotgun video coming out in a couple of days. I took a friend of mine who just got back, who's in the army, um, and he just got back into shooting again. So he came out. I'm showing him how to use the cameras and that. And as you'll see in the video, it's a few different sort of angles because a third pair of hands is always
Mhm.
good. And of course, he shot like 50, 60 rounds through the shotgun, and he had a lot of fun. And to me, that was more rewarding than making the video of actually he's
Yep.
having fun. And
Yep.
it didn't cost a cent because he's helping me. and he had a lot of fun. And to me, that was more rewarding than actually making the video. They're going to make $6 on.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
$8 if I hit the big time.
Well, boss, we've been going for almost, man, we're starting to approach 3 hours at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but,
can too. I could too. But unfortunately, I got to get to bed because I'm supposed to be up in about 5 hours,
okay.
headed to the gym.
It's,
Don't know if
it's,
that's going to work.
it's still daylight, and I'm about to go out and party all night for Australia Day.
Yeah, man, you should definitely drink a Foster's for me, right?
Oh,
Because
no, Australians don't drink Fosters. How many times do I have to tell you this?
I'm going to
Wait,
still.
no, no, no. Where's that Vegemite?
Oh my gosh! Oh yes, we got to do that. Oh my gosh! Okay,
Do it right
so
now. No, not leaving till you do it.
yeah, we're not going to. We're not leaving until I do it. I've got it sitting right over there. I got to make some toast. So I'm
Yes.
gonna step away. Talk
I'll
amongst.
answer some questions, and
Yeah,
you make
talk
put
amongst
butter
yourself.
put butter on it, and then Vegemite. Don't eat it like Vegemite on toast.
Okay,
Put butter
okay,
or margarine or whatever.
okay. Hold on one second.
Okay, so what do we have here? If Bagara, FPS Russia is still making money, I reckon 6.9 mil subscribers. Yeah, he'll be making money off his ad revenue, that's for sure. He definitely will. He's actually quite a nice guy. Didn't deserve what happened to him at all. Foster's, LOL. Yes, Grim Reaper. We do not drink Foster's here in Australia at all. It's actually quite hard to actually find a place that will actually sell Foster's beer. We just don't drink it. It's just awful. And Richard, yeah, I agree totally. Only wankers and tossers drink Foster's in the UK. Yep, and no one here in Australia drinks it. Colin really had a great time tonight. Thank you for the great show, and it's always good to see you, Colin. Thank you very much. Um, yep, and everything's about Foster's. Well regarded, regulated. Sorry, well regulated. I've posted that Aussies don't drink Foster's. Yeah, yep, we don't drink it, guys. Yeah, don't ever think the movies are all wrong. It's just like firearms, but yeah, like firearms, the Foster's thing in the movies, it's all wrong. Well regulated, VB maybe down south. Yes, I'm up top of Australia. We don't drink VB up here. We call it vaginal backwash. So no, we do not drink it. So I normally drink whiskey. So tonight I am drinking Maker's Mark. I normally drink Jack Daniel's Gentleman Jack. And I actually, the best beer we get here, actually cheaper than Australian beer, is Coors. So I actually do enjoy a nice Coors, not Coors Light, but just normal Coors, and it's cheaper than Australian beer for some reason. Okay, I'll just try and find some more comments while Mark makes his toast. Okay, so I'm not very good at reading these comments, finding them. Don't go just yet. We got to see him eat Vegemite. How many of you guys out there in America land has actually had Vegemite? That's what I want to know. My mate Hootie Who had it from one of his relatives who brought it back from the army, and he actually shot it on his show and caused a lot of stink because Australians weren't happy about him shooting Vegemite, and he said the entire range absolutely stank of Vegemite for about a day. He said it was sickening. Most people don't know it's like a yeast product. We have it on toast or crackers with cheese, or you stick it in the oven on bread rolls and melt the cheese on it. Oh, absolute delicacy over here. You have that with a nice beer, not Foster's, of course, and yeah, it is absolute delicacy over here. And I'm sure Mark will absolutely love it.
Okay, I've got my toast. I've got my toast here.
Yeah. Show them the can.
There it is.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask you, does this go bad?
No.
Okay.
So
I didn't think it does because holy cow. My friend, really good friend of mine, I don't know if you can see that. See that little right in the center there? My best friend came and swiped their finger through it and tasted it and was like,
that's all of you Americans' problem. You always try and tell Flattermouse they got a spoon and ate it. It's like, no, I'd be sick if I had a spoonful.
oh, okay.
I just talked about Hootie Hoo. He shot it with a 50 cal and blew it up. And he said his entire range stank for the whole day of it. But he had tasted it years ago and he couldn't even bring himself to taste it.
So
No,
I can tell you this smells like catfish bait. That's what this smells like. It smells literally like liver catfish bait. So
and this is a delicacy. If you have it with melted cheese on a bread roll in the oven, oh, no, that's pub food 9,000.
so my bro, the Grim Reaper, he's saying Vegemite on toast isn't too bad. So just get a little on a knife and put it on. Is that all? Is that what we're doing?
Don't lather it this time. Work your way up.
it's like whiskey for the first time, right? You just kind of.
It's like being a teenager all over again.
All right. So, all right, here's my. I can't believe we waited this long to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip this from the live chat and I'm going to repost it for you guys.
Yeah.
So there it is. Is that too much?
God, you got to eat the whole damn thing.
Okay. Well, I'll eat the whole damn thing. But
it is Australia Day. Smear it on and shove it down your gob.
Well, I got water standing by. So let me pop this open and.
That won't help you.
What are you doing to me? Okay, here we go. That's like eating. Oh my god, it's like eating a weird tasting salt lick. Oh,
it is very salty. I forgot to tell you that one.
Oh my god. Why do you guys eat this? It's so gross. I can't do this. What is it made out of?
It's a yeast extract. If you go to England, it's they got their version called Marmite.
Oh,
mate, that is a delicacy over here. When you come over here, I'll be feeding you that every morning.
No, you will not.
Yeah.
No.
Every morning you'll be forced to do that.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to continue to eat this piece of toast just to get the taste down. Oh my god.
Well, okay. Here's a funny story. Well, are you going to go shoot the rest of the cans I gave you?
Yeah.
You want me to? Yeah, of course. That's what I sent them over for.
You know what? I have a Glock, a Glock 21, which is the 45 ACP version of the Glock, that has a 460 Roland barrel put into it. I will shoot this with the 460 Roland.
Shoot them all up. Hootie Hoo did it, and he got Australians absolutely abusing him and crying. It's a national treasure. And I was going, get over yourself. It's a yeast extract. It's a byproduct of diesel.
Did you just say is a byproduct of diesel?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh God,
I may be wrong, but yeah, pretty much.
Oh, it's so horrible.
Colin said here's an acquired taste. Grim Reaper said, I had the same reaction the first time, Fit and Fire. People put Marmite in coffee. Yes, Richard, that is wrong. I love my coffee, and I would not put Marmite in. I used to have the original. Back in New Zealand, we didn't have Vegemite. We had Marmite. And there's the English Marmite, which is just basically like scraping out a possum's ass and eating it. Then you had the New Zealand Marmite, which was better.
Oh my gosh. That is so I can't do that. I can't do it. Now, if I was raised on this, maybe I could eat it better. But
Oh, you poor thing.
oh my goodness. But it has a lot of vitamin B vitamins, as you say it.
We call them vitamins.
Oh, you do. It's I guess it's the Brits that say vitamins.
It's really good for you, actually.
Cool.
You'll get used to it.
Well, I will definitely I will definitely snip this from the live chat and repost it. At the very least, I'll repost it on Instagram.
Oh, will you be giving it to your kids for breakfast?
Oh, what's that?
Will you be giving it to your kids tomorrow for breakfast?
Oh, heck, I would never put her through that. No. I would never put her. that would be a good punishment. Yeah.
That'd be like a PC punishment, a slice of toast punishment.
That's a good question. Let's see. It's funny because on the nutritional facts that they have here, well regulated was asking, does it have electrolytes? But
it has everything.
It has energy. Legitimately, it says energy.
Yeah.
Right on the very first thing, it says energy. And it's 36 kilojoules.
And it does induce explosive diarrhea. Don't forget to mention that.
And then it's got 1.3 grams of protein. That's pretty good.
Colin Penfold here said, Vegemite and Weet-Bix. Do you have Weet-Bix over there?
Never heard of it.
I guess I better send some over.
Hopefully this time it won't get trapped up in customs.
Yeah, I'm assuming Weet-Bix is like your Wheaties breakfast cereal. You just put milk on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, do you say like Wheaties?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's like your Wheaties over there.
Oh, okay.
Weet-Bix. Yeah. So that's what I'm assuming. But oh well, hey, dude, I'm proud of you that you actually ate it.
Well, I mean, I'm the type of person that will try anything once. Just about easy in the chat room. Easy in the chat room. You know what I'm talking about.
When you get Hootie Who on your show, you have to eat another one just to prove that you're a man, because Hootie would not eat it.
He wouldn't even eat it at all. Like I tell you, for those of you in the United States who have been fishing, if you've ever got the little pellets, they're like this big around that you can get from like Walmart, and it's catfish bait. If you get the liver catfish bait, that's exactly what this smells like to me. So enjoy.
Well, because you manned up, I may send you over some Tim Tams.
What is that?
That is a national treasure, like Fiji. Chocolate biscuits.
Oh, okay. All right. I can do chocolate.
Only because you manned up and took one bite, which is pretty pathetic. But
it's true. That's true.
I told Hootie the same thing. If Hootie ate it, he would get some Tim Tams. But no. And you bite the top and the bottom off Tim Tams and suck it through a straw at your coffee, and it's the biggest delicacy you could ever have.
Well, I will do this. I will not shoot this for now. And each time that you come on the channel, I will have a piece of toast with this in your honor.
How about you have more on your toast every time?
Okay. We'll do that. Every time that you're on, we'll increase the dose of my torture.
That sounds, oh yeah, but you send me something that you guys eat over to me, and I'll give it a go.
Okay, let me think of something.
After Hootie shot the Vegemite, everyone said, "Oh, Aaron, you got to get back at him by shooting peanut butter and jelly." I shot peanut butter, but we don't have peanut butter and jelly. We
Yeah,
call it jam because we're normal people.
right.
Um,
Do you guys? I would have to think about that. What's something that would be American? What about canned sardines?
oh no, my dad eats canned sardines, and he grew up in the East End of London back in the days where you'd kill someone for a sixpence. So, no, no.
I
But then,
will.
do you
I
guys actually still eat that stuff?
yeah. I mean, I know several people that eat sardines and other things out of cans. You know, the sardines is the first one that comes to mind.
Dad has been trying to feed me sardines for 50 years.
I mean, I'll tell you that when I was in Iraq, it actually tasted really, really good. But I think it had to do to the fact that I was just my body was just so starved for anything. So mayonnaise, that's a good idea. Well
I love
regulated. Okay,
I
so you
could
know that.
I could drink it like beer.
Oh, just had a gag reflex. Oh,
Guys, put it in the comments. What should I eat that my American friends eat? I need to know.
let's see. What
It's
do,
gotta be, if it's got to be sardines, it's got to be sardines. I can go to the
yeah,
shop and buy sardines so for a
uh,
dollar per pack.
Vienna sausages.
I love I love spicy food.
What about ketchup? Do you guys do ketchup at all?
Yeah,
Okay.
if there's a steak's on a steak unless there's half a pound of bloody Heinz ketchup on it.
Wow, you just ruined it. You ruined steak for me forever. I can't do
All, all meat tastes the same with tomato sauce on it.
yeah, I'll definitely have to come up with something for you. I'm
Or
sure.
well regulated said scrapple. What is that something?
Um, yeah, he's gonna have to elaborate on that. Alligator meat. That would be
Yeah,
cool. If I could figure out a way to get you some alligator meat, that would be awesome.
I'll get you some kangaroo meat. Oh, but just come here and do some roo shooting with us. You'll
Uh,
never eat roo meat ever again. Um,
pickle
or,
pickle pig's feet. Yeah, that's a southern thing.
yeah, I guess I'd try that.
I don't think I've ever had it.
If you had it, we'll eat it together then.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes not going to go off because it's like 10 weeks to get something here.
Yeah, I know, right? You would have to definitely plan that one.
It's got to be in a can or a bottle. I hate to say this, I really do hate to say this, but BuzzFeed do have videos on Aussie sort of food that
Mhm.
Americans are trying to eat.
Yeah.
So if you see something on that I could send you, and I absolutely hate BuzzFeed because they're left wing tards. But
Yeah. Every once in a while, they actually put something out that's insightful, I guess.
yeah,
So, but
Australian food that Americans eat.
Mhm.
That's the height of their reporting. But yeah, no, we'll come up with something. But I'll definitely be into that. Kool-Aid, excuse me, we do have Kool-Aid over here.
The cakes that police eat starts with a T. Oh, Twinkies.
Oh, well, I can buy Twinkies, but they're normally stale
Oh yeah.
from a local shop,
Mhm.
and I could live off them.
Oh,
That's
I
not
could
much
too.
of a challenge.
Nah.
I'll enjoy that.
Rocky Mountain oysters. That's a good one. The
Oh,
Grim Reaper.
I love oysters. Oysters, Kilpatrick.
No,
I've
no,
never
no,
been.
no, 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 no. These are not oysters.
Okay,
They're
maybe
they're called they're called Rocky Mountain oysters, but they're not oysters.
I'm going to have to do a Google, aren't I?
You should Google it right now.
Okay, hang on.
If you can Google it right now.
Yep, doing that right now. Rocky Mountain oysters.
Mm-hmm.
What
I
does it
think
come up?
that's
What does it come up with? Porn sites?
no. It shouldn't anyway. It may. I don't know.
Okay, mountain oysters. Here we go. Hey, they look all right. Rocky Mountain oysters, or mountain oysters, or meatballs, known as prairie oysters in Canada, is a dish made from bull testicles. Yeah.
I've had one. Not that bad. Not that
Okay,
bad.
well, if that's what it's come to, I guess that's it.
Now I have to figure out how to get them to you.
Do I have them in cans or anything?
They might. I'd have to research it. I'll research it. I'll figure it out.
If you can get them here, like in cans or a jar, I'll suck on those bull oysters. Like no tomorrow.
There you go. All right, so let's do some research. I'm going to lean on the guys in the chat. I know Well Regulated. He and I are connected on Instagram. So since it's well, him and the Grim Reaper, yeah. The three between the three of us, I'm sure we can figure something out. We'll get them sent out to you.
Well, Regulated just said sheep bulls. I draw the line at that stuff. Look, I do a lot of hunting and I kill a lot of fucking animals, and I'll never eat roo, and I highly recommend no one eat roo meat at all. I'd much rather eat horse.
Mm.
You know, we did not even get into hunting tonight.
We didn't. No, we didn't. Richard, he says send him an MRE. That actually, I could probably do that one.
Yeah, I actually want. You can buy MREs here.
Oh, really?
I like $200 a pop.
Oh, yeah.
I want to do a video on eating an MRE. So we could probably do a collaboration on that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I eat MRE and you eat an entire jar of Vegemite.
Oh my God!
The Australian MREs actually come with Vegemite.
Does it really? Oh my goodness! I just had to see. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Sodium in this is 156 milligrams. Good night.
Yeah, I used to eat Vegemite sandwiches with salt and vinegar chips when I was a surfer because it stopped me from getting cramps. The salt would stop me from getting cramps.
That's true. That's true. Mm-hmm.
And when you're in 12-foot waves, last thing you want is a cramp, and you can't paddle in to save your life. Fun fact. So, yep. Oh, okay. Well, if they come in cans, yes, send some bull testicles over. I'll lap them up. No tomorrow.
Right on. Yeah, we'll definitely get that figured out for you. So, but let's go ahead and start shutting things down. I've got all of, we've got 20 people left in chat, and I appreciate you guys staying to the bitter end. 3 hours and 2 minutes. I think this is the longest live chat that I've had, and it's gone quick because we just get going and we just get chatting. It's pretty awesome. Let's see. All the information for Shooting Stuff Australia is down in the description below. So if you guys haven't already subscribed, please do. I know that Well Regulated said that he subscribed to you tonight. So that's awesome. Really do appreciate it. And goodness, Richard, Richard's been up since 3 a.m. So
thank you, Richard. May I do a shameless plug?
Absolutely. You got the last word.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to Mark for having me on. It's always a pleasure. Always very nice to talk to you. You're one of the handful of YouTubers that have been very nice to me and helped me out. So I'll give you the time of day every single day. Please, my Australian, a lot of people here from Australia that follow me and look at my live stream, please subscribe to Fit and Fire. Just hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. He makes great videos. Please subscribe to him, my Australian followers. And to the American followers who have probably never heard of me, which I don't blame you, please come over and subscribe to my channel And I'm so sorry, but my live streams are on Wednesdays, which is your Tuesday nights in the middle of night for you. But it is a video the next day, as everyone knows, it turns into a video. Please listen to, if you want to know more about gun laws, corruption in the Australian government and police, please head over to my channel and watch our live streams. Or if you can't make the live stream, please watch them as a video the next day. We do explain a bit more about Australian gun laws and what you guys are in for, because I really don't think you guys are in for a nice, smooth ride. I think they're going to follow our gun laws. And I am more than happy, if you guys want to see me again, I'm more than happy to come on Fit and Fire again and explain what's happening, because I really do think they're going to follow what we got here. There's loopholes and there's ways around it. And I've got my own predictions that I've said tonight. I do think you guys are in for an absolute shitstorm coming up. They're not going to outright ban guns in the US. Let's say all semi-autos are gone. They won't do that. They will ban by stealth. And that's how they have done it here. And that's how they'll do it in the US. And they have been talking to our Prime Minister, old Biden has been talking to our Prime Minister, and it doesn't take a brain surgeon to link it all together. I hope I'm totally wrong, because I don't want you guys to be punished like we've been punished.
Yep.
And I got so much more to say, but we have run out of time. So we will do this again.
Yes.
And thank you so much for having me. And thank you for you guys for watching and putting up with me.
Yeah.
And the Vegemite.
Man, we should have done it at the beginning. I totally spaced it out. I everything's setting out ready to go. I just totally spaced it. But like I said, next time we'll do it at the beginning, and we'll have you on here soon to just chat. I mean, it's been unscripted the entire time. That's one of the things I really do enjoy about it. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks so much. The 20 of you that are in the chat that has stayed with us the entire 3 hours, thank you so much. That has been awesome. We'll be on next week. As it stands right now, next week's guest is going to be Ava Flanell, and she is part of Gun Funny podcast. She's going to be on hopefully next week. I've got her scheduled. We'll make sure that we get her on, and we'll go from there. So thanks again, guys. Appreciate it. We're going to get out of here, and have a great week. As always, keep calm and carry. Catch you guys later. Bye, y'all.
Thank you, and good night.